Available at Bullock's.
Ah, the freshness of morning. Ooh, the grunginess of morning breath.
Morning.
Minty fresh scope?
Mine works. Can't you tell the difference?
Yeah, you just turned morning breath to medicine breath. Scope leaves your breath minty fresh. Try.
Minty fresh. Some sensation.
Some difference.
Morning.
Ah, Scope. Fights bad breath, doesn't give medicine breath.
Billy, come back!
Guess he doesn't want a bath.
Well, I know what I want. To taste of good old-fashioned lemonade.
Country time.
With natural lemon flavor.
Tastes like good old-fashioned lemonade.
Not too tart, not too sweet.
Country Time lemonade flavored drink, unsweetened too.
Country time, country time. Tastes like that good old-fashioned lemonade.
The following program is brought to you in living color on NBC.
Hey, what time is it? It's Podblast
That's right. It's Podblast time. At last, I'm so excited to be here with you guys and gals. We're going to do things a little differently tonight. It's going to be a blast, I hope. No, it's going to be a Podblast. Ha, 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 ha. How are you feeling? How you doing? This is your weird, informative, and hopefully fun time capsule of memories of days gone by as we forge ahead together in the game of life, like the Milton Bradley board game of life. But right now, we're reminiscing about life. That's what this show, the Nostalgic Podblast, is all about. We talk specifically about pop culture history. I said pop culture history, pop, P-O-P, culture history, and life experiences that we all have in common. That's exactly what this program, the Nostalgic Podblast, is all about. This is the Nostalgia Show with a bite because it bites. Welcome, I'm Chance Bartels, your host. No relation to Chance the Rapper. As Steve Harvey says at the beginning of every Family Feud that he hosts, he says, "We got a good one for you today!" And I certainly do, for you. Now, many of you, an apology. One thing that we all can agree on is that we all despise broken promises. And I had promised our wonderful game show people out there that we would resume our conversation about great deceased hosts of classic game shows, which I have not done. Last time we did that, we covered the passing of Peter Marshall, the original host of the Hollywood Squares, in which Al Hardy joined us to talk about his personal experience as an audience member of the original Hollywood Squares back in the 1970s. And hell, in the very first Podblast, I said we'd do a show about classic Lost in Space, and I still have not produced that for you. And that was a promise I made to the audience in the very beginning on June 15th, 2019. Also, I promised you Lydia Cornell, the blonde bombshell from the classic sitcom Too Close for Comfort, which first began on ABC and later became a syndicated program up until 1986, the day that the star Ted Cassidy passed away, sadly. And that was promised to you. I promised you she'd be here on camera, and that's not happened yet. It will, though. It's just her schedules and mine have conflicted lately, but we had the storms that threw everything off. However, I have a written guarantee from her that she will be here on the Podblast live in November 2035. No, in November 2024. She will definitely be our guest just in time for November Sweeps Week. But I promised also more 1970s trivia to one person in particular, Mr. Gutfeld, who is a New York Mets fan. He must be over the moon. I won't go into details. I don't want to date the show. We're not a sports show. And I failed to deliver that promise of more 1970s trivia. But I will get back to the trivia right now, but later on in this very Podblast. And so the game show host series has been sort of pushed aside yet again so that we can cover an acting legend. Not because he passed away. No, on the contrary. It's because he's the ultimate character actor who retired from acting 20 years ago today. I'm talking about Gene Hackman, as the thumbnail image indicates. Anyone watching after the fact that didn't watch live or listen live. He's going to be our character actor spotlight. In fact, we do have a very special guest. That's right. We have Mr. Gene Hackman himself by phone, audio interview only. Yeah, right. I can't fool you. Nobody bought that. We will have him here, though, in an interview format that I didn't conduct on camera. But we do have a special guest, though, and he sure is special. He's a founding father of the Podblast, and he's old enough to be my father. No, not really. We're talking about Al Hardy. He's going to be here with cool vintage Gene Hackman items or an item to show us from his massive movie poster collection and lobby card collection and movie memorabilia collection. In fact, he's actually been working with the Library of Congress to preserve his artifacts, as well as the Terra Cinema here in the Atlanta, Georgia area, and the Plaza Theater, also in the Atlanta, Georgia area, which is the eldest movie theater in Atlanta history. I think it opened in, 1938, the same year Superman hit the scene in Action Comics #1, if I'm not mistaken. So Al will likely be on if he feels like it. He said his stomach is bothering him when I talked with him shortly before I went live. So we'll see. But either with or without him, we're going to have a good show, but hopefully with him. But first, listeners, not to worry. I am going to describe what I'm going to show you. I have some images, movie posters of Gene Hackman movies and the like, but don't worry, it's going to be very audio friendly. But listeners, I just want to mention, if you're listening on one of my audio platforms like Apple Podcast or a Fistful of Radio out of Atlanta on Tuesday afternoon at 2 Eastern time, 11 a.m. Pacific time, or Sunday at that time, or whenever overnight, go to the YouTube channel or just Google search The Nostalgic Podblast, and at the very top of your Google search, you should see the Nostalgic Podblast YouTube channel. Click that. If you want, click subscribe. Don't have to. Doesn't cost you anything if you do. But click that, and then click the live tab, and you'll see a really cool image of Gene Hackman. That way you'll know you're in the right place to be able to see the clips I'm going to show tonight. And that is a segue into my little disclaimer. It's the legal disclaimer. In terms of the video and audio clips that I'll present to you tonight, I do not represent the owners of this material or any of its entities. This is a live, educational, interactive lecture for fellow nostalgia fans and pop culture historians, in which I earn no proceeds in any way from those clips. I do not own any of the movie clips or the musical cues. No rights are or were given or were implied by the rights owners, and I encourage all to purchase official releases of this material where applicable, as I have done. Meaning buy the DVDs, buy the Blu-rays, buy the physical copies, subscribe to the streaming service that houses these films and TV shows if you can afford to do so. And all the clips that I'm going to play tonight were found on YouTube from other fan channels, meaning non-official channels. So if it's okay for them, I assume it's okay for me. Let's play a game. How many times will the live stream on the YouTube side and the Facebook side go down tonight? Usually with Facebook, it's one strike and you're done. But hopefully that's not the case. I tried to get these pre-approved as best that I could. But we'll see. So in the chat, I'm going to look at the chat in a minute. Just throw a number out there. How many times will this YouTube live stream of tonight's Nostalgic Podblast about Gene Hackman go down? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't think it can go down more than 4. Or it'll go down for good. And that reminds me, I was so happy that one of my shows I did back in August 2023 had a lot of fun doing it. It was a 6-hour show, though. You have to watch it in stages. And I put marks in there so you could do that. It was about the top 55 Billboard charted TV themes that were released as single 45 records throughout history. And there were some that were never marked at, like number 16, for instance. There was no TV theme that ever charted at number 16, so it was just unknown. But I'd say 85% of the top 55 Billboard charts in that list were TV themes. So anyway, the video got blocked like 2 days after it was live back in August of 2023, August 20th, 2023. It got blocked. And when I was live on Facebook, it went down entirely and had to resume it the next day and then edit it together. It was a cluster, you know what, but I made it happen. So long story short, I noticed that YouTube allows a podcast feed, an RSS feed as it's known to the layman, of your audio shows. So I uploaded it and I noticed, I was thinking, oh crap, there's going to be an issue with my top 55 TV theme shows, but it went through. And the reason it got blocked initially was there was a fraudulent company in France called We Believe Music. Believe Music, not We Believe. Believe Music. We Believe is something else. Whenever someone says We Believe in the sports world, their team always loses. We believe. Isn't it? I digress. I've just seen that many times, it doesn't matter. I won't go into specifics. Nobody cares about that. But I noticed there was no claim on the audio side from this Believe Music. And there were all sorts of YouTube videos of other YouTube creators complaining about this Believe Music outfit. And what they were doing is they were claiming to be the rights owners of, say, the Beverly Hillbillies theme in my instance, and a couple other themes that I played when I knew they weren't. And they wanted royalties. And I guess a lot of people paid this company in France, Believe Music, royalties. And I thought, why is YouTube giving them credence? Why are they accepting their claim? And I guess eventually they checked them out and said, you know what? You're out of here, to Believe Music, I guess. But so I said, okay, if the audio can go up, maybe the video can too. And it did. So sorry, I wasn't going to mention that at the top of the show, but I just wanted to get that off my chest. That was a happy surprise that I could get that video up. And one guy made a comment. He says, it's an excellent, this is a paraphrase. I'm paraphrasing now. He said, great concept, poor execution. I'm like, man, I'm sorry. I'm doing the best I can. At one point I ran like the $6 Million Man, really hamming it up for the camera. And it looked kind of interesting. Not me, because I don't like to watch myself, but I mean, like, I did moves and it looked kind of like I was a robot. It was strange, like the way the camera did it. So I'm glad I could restore that. That was a fun show because I could play all those great TV themes. And where I messed up was I played the 45 record versions of them. I should have played the TV versions of those theme songs, but it is about Billboard charted music. When you do that, though, you do run the risk of having a copyright nightmare, which I did. I think there were like 30 claims or something. Not all claims are bad. They're just rightfully claiming their stuff, So anyway, let's get back on track. Let's see what that was. My legal disclaimer. Yes, no rights given or are implied. Hopefully they'll realize I'm just promoting their stuff. I'm a fan of this content, and I'm trying to encourage people to buy movies from these movie studios that have released them, in either streaming format or a physical copy of that film or television show. But I want to begin with this. I just began with that, but let's begin with this. Here's a quick correction corner from the last time, which was the third installment of a segment I turned into a full Podblast called Every Issue Ever Made of a Marvel comic book or a different comic book published. I'm going to branch off to other comic books like Charlton Comics, but I show, if it's 200 issues or less, every issue ever published of a title from my collection. And by the way, later, you're going to hear about a comic book collection, well over $1 million. Heritage Auctions is auctioning off one of the best comic book collections in history. We'll talk about it later. And this person had almost every DC comic book ever published. My gosh, that goes back to the golden age. It goes back to the 1930s, the 1940s, 50s. I mean, my gosh. We'll talk about it, and I'll show you some examples from that collection, some actual covers that I found on the web of some graded books from that epic comic book collection. It's a great story. I can't wait to share it with you. So my correction, in every issue ever made that I did last time, which was the third installment, first one was Ghost Rider, second one was Marvel 2-in-1, which is The Thing from the Fantastic Four and Somebody, like DC's Brave and the Bold, similar to that, or Marvel's Marvel Team Up, Spider-Man, and fill in the blank. Well, the third one, it was about the Defenders. The Defenders, which is like the Avengers, except the Defenders was 8 years after the Avengers hit the scene in 1963. The Defenders hit in 1971 and 1972 with their own title. So I stated there's a TV show called The Defenders, not to be confused with this comic book, which was a legal drama. And I said that along with star E.G. Marshall, whom a lot of you may remember from Creepshow. You got some bugs, Mr. Pratt? He was the bald rich guy in the penthouse, a-hole, terrorized by roaches. It was queasy. It makes me queasy just watching that segment of Creepshow. But he also was the president in Superman 2 and the scenes directed by Richard Donner, who was ousted from directing Superman 2 due to budgetary reasons from the producers. That's another story. I've told it before, and you probably know it anyway. But I stated that along with E.G. Marshall, character actor, I'm going to feature down the line, that Mark Goddard, before Lost in Space, before he was Major Crash West, he acted with E.G. Marshall in Defenders. And no, that was Robert Reed who acted with E.G. Marshall long before the Brady Bunch. Mark Goddard was on a show called The Detectives, another show with a D that I got confused. It wasn't The Defenders, it was The Detectives that had Mark Goddard. But getting back to Robert Reed, because this was like 1961-ish. Brady Bunch hit the scene in 1969. The pilot filmed in 1968. Well, it was Robert Reed and The Defenders from The Brady Bunch. And that was a show that Gene Hackman passed on. He passed. Casting wanted him to portray Mike Brady. But Gene Hackman turned it down. And I think it was the right choice for both actors. I think Robert Reed, who was doing Mannix at the same time he was acting in the silly Brady Bunch, but beloved Brady Bunch, he was in a serious crime drama, Mannix, a show that began in 1967, the fall of 67. That's good coffee. Sorry, I took a sip. So that's my correction. And I know there were others, but I don't want to bog the show down with a bunch of corrections. I make plenty of mistakes. But it's time to say, hey to the chat. I trimmed my beard and some got in my mouth there. Sorry, I didn't mean to spit into the mic. Right before I got on, I should trim my beard, my goatee. We got to acknowledge the chat, finally, and say hey to everybody that tuned in. And I had a couple texts come in I need to look at while I do this. So let's play our standard clip as we acknowledge the chat. Hey, everybody. That's not right. Hey, everybody. Take two. Hey, everybody.
You had a good day today, friends. Yeah. I did.
I had a Superman day.
You had a Superman day. Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Spider-Man day.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Well, you know what? Wait. You know what time it is? It's time for me to see the friends at home in the magic mirror. Romper bumper, stomper boo, tell me, do. Magic mirror, tell me today, did all my friends have fun at play? All my friends had fun today. I see David's having a special day today, and Olivia Joy had a special day on Sunday. I see Robin had a special day yesterday, and Dana's having a special day today, and so is Reginald and Edward John and Margaret. And I see I see Justin and Megan and Courtney and Brick and Mark and Rachel and Sheila and Caroline are all having special days, and Cicely and Ashley and Matthew and Jose, and I see Bonnie and Anthony and Joe had special days yesterday, and so did Tammy and Brandon and Gregory, and of course, friends, you know I see you, and I'll see you again.
Hey, everybody. Jim Von Spiegel, watching on Facebook Live, asked, did the Batman theme make it? It did. The hefty version? Yeah, it did. It was okay in that show. That even though it's a show from August 2023, just because of the content of the music, that's a pretty good show. And the audio is best on the YouTube versus my audio platforms, because it got really compressed when I converted it to audio, and it just sounds kind of like poop. Greetings from South Carolina, said Danny Staten, friend of the program. Keebler's out there. Well, that's not true. She's countering what I said. The Astros did good when they used a "We Believe" slogan a few years back. Okay, well, I didn't know that. But I've seen the Pittsburgh Pirates fail using that. I've seen the Phillies fail. Anyway, it's usually in baseball that it fails. But hey, you just proved me wrong in that instance. So that's good to know. Thanks for that. Of course, hey to the wonderful Tracy's Fractured History and More. She kindly did a super chat last week, my first since I got monetized. Hello to Skelly Ton in England. He can watch some of my content, my BJ and the Bear episodes, which cannot be seen on YouTube in America or Canada. That's kind of cool. My Flock, what can I say? That's my sister from another mother, and she's going to join us later towards the tail end of the show, because speaking of mothers, it's her mom's birthday weekend, so I'm going to sing her mom happy birthday if I can. I said hey to Jim. Esmeralda in Washington State, formerly Oregon State. Or do I have that backwards? No, it's Washington State, right? Hello to you. I couldn't do it without you. Wait, that's my line for Esmeralda. Oh my gosh, I haven't seen that in years. Oh, the romper room. Love you too, Chance. Love you back, Sarah. You're so sweet. All right, so now we can get back to the program. I think I've acknowledged everybody that's out there that has left a comment. I know a lot of people watch it, don't leave a comment, and that's fine. You have to have a YouTube account. That's the advantage of subscribing. If you like to comment, you have to have an account to comment. Let me see. I had a text come in. What the heck? Wow. Oh, well, I don't want to say on the air what that was. Okay. All right. Al Hardy was texting me, and I had another text. All right, let me now get back to the show. Sorry, listeners. I'm not trying to stumble and bumble. I think it's time, as we wait for Al Hardy to possibly join us, it's time to honor the great acting of Gene Hackman. I have some recent photos of Gene, said at the top of the show, which you may or may not have seen before. You may not have seen him before, as well as interviews with him. I know I already stated that. But here's some of the history of Gene Hackman. Did you know he was born as Eugene Allen, A-double-L-E-N, not A-N, Eugene Allen Hackman, back on Thursday, January 30th, 1930, in San Bernardino, California. And Gene is the son of Eugene Ezra Hackman and Anna Lydia Elizabeth. And he has a brother named Richard. Hackman has Pennsylvania Dutch, English, and Scottish ancestry. But his mother was born in Ontario, Canada. But Hackman's family moved frequently, finally settling in Danville, Illinois, where they lived in the house of his English-born maternal grandmother, Beatrice. His father operated the printing press for the Commercial News, a local newspaper. Hackman decided that he wanted to become an actor at the age of 10. That's the year I started collecting Marvel comic books. His parents sadly divorced when he was 13 years of age, and his father left the family. Hackman lived briefly in Storm Lake, Iowa, and spent his sophomore year at Storm Lake High School. He left his home at the age of 16 and lied about his age to enlist in the United States Marine Corps. I have a clip where he talks about that. Why don't I just play that now to break up the monotony of my little biography channel segment that I do? I'm going to play a brief clip of Gene Hackman talking about his service and enlisting in the U.S. Marine Corps when he was on David Letterman, a very rare interview. I have some really cool interviews I found. And Letterman has his own YouTube channel now. It started in 2022 to commemorate the 40th anniversary of Late Night with David Letterman on NBC, which debuted on February 1st, 1982 on that network. So I don't like to feature Letterman clips like I used to on the Podblast audio only because I don't want to conflict or piss him off or his people off. But said I don't like to say, pee off. Family show. But I'm going to try to play this now. And hopefully it's very brief. It's only like a couple minutes long. If I could find it, gosh darn it, I had it right here. Oh dear, hang on. And I also have some cool clips from his acting work in television, like The Invaders, from a VHS tape. I took pictures of this VHS tape. It's this tape right here from a 1988 release by Good Times Home Video. I bought this. Look at that, $9.99 price tag from Suncoast Home Video in Cumberland Mall in Atlanta, Georgia. Remember Suncoast Home Video chains? I liked them. Oh, let me get that. I'll show you the picture later when I get to that point of the show. Here it is. It's from 1988. Here's Gene Hackman, only a minute and 38 seconds long. Gene Hackman talking about why he joined the Marine Corps.
Were you in the service yourself?
Yeah, I was in the Marines.
Yeah.
I'd gone in when I was 16.
What were the circumstances leading up to the decision a 16-year-old kid makes about going into the Marine Corps for you?
I couldn't get laid, and
I couldn't either, but I thought maybe scouting would help.
I had tried scouting.
To go to the Marine Corps. Yeah. Damn.
Well, no, I just wanted to get out of town, really. Marine Corps happened to be the only place that would send me, and I was just 16.
And was that part of basic training? Good Lord,
No, I heard that they would send you to China, and I knew that was possible there,
I don't understand that, but you were in from the age of 16 to when?
16 till I was in 5 years.
Yeah.
It took a while.
Great experience? Oh, I see. You stay in until you complete the mission. Yeah. Oh, geez. We don't have a clip here, do we? Of anything? No, of the movie, of his experiences in the Corps? Nothing?
I'd like to see that.
Yeah, I would be interested in that. You want to hit a cannon full of cheese balls?
I'd love to do
that. Go ahead,
yeah.
right there. Any one of those. I think they're all set to go. Oh, you hit a dud. All right, try another one. Gene, thank you very much.
I love it. He didn't do many late night shows, talk shows and whatnot. So that was pretty funny. I was just looking at some of the chat. Hello to Jerry Dobson watching on Facebook Live. Hello, Jerry. He stumbles in the room like Otis. Very cool. Very nice. Very nice to see you. And I was putting all the comments on the screen as the clips played there. All right. So now let's talk more about the life of Gene Hackman, who's still with us. He has not passed away. Knock on wood. This isn't an in memoriam type deal. That makes me sad. I thought, let's honor the ultimate character actor. He retired 20 years ago today, back in 2004. That was my inspiration for tonight's Podblast. And plus, I was on Mongolian Monsters live stream last night, and I mentioned Gene Hackman, and people in chat lit up. I mean, everyone, that's a question for you guys and gals. What's your favorite Gene Hackman film or performance? What sticks out in your mind? I'm going to cover them all tonight. I'll mention some. This is not going to be a 5-hour, 6-hour, 4-hour show. I hope I'm going to try to keep this to 3 hours, because who has the time to listen to more of that? Even in stages, there's better stuff out there. I know that. So where did I leave off? We were talking about his service in the military, in the Marines. You heard the reason why he enlisted, and he was only 16 years of age when he enlisted in the United States Marine Corps. He served 4.5 years as a field radio operator. And Hackman was stationed in China when the Communist Revolution conquered the mainland in 1949, he was assigned to Hawaii and Japan. Following his discharge from the United States Marines in 1951, Hackman moved to New York City and had several jobs. His mother sadly died in 1962 as a result of a fire she accidentally started while smoking. He began a study of journalism and television production at the University of Illinois under the GI Bill, but left and moved back to California. Here's a quote from Gene Hackman. "Acting was something I wanted to do since I was 10 and saw my first movie. I was so captured by the action guys. Jimmy Cagney was my favorite. Without realizing it, I could see he had tremendous timing and vitality." Unquote. So let's talk about the origin of his acting career on screen. In 1956, Gene Hackman began pursuing an acting career. He joined the Pasadena Playhouse in California, where he befriended another aspiring actor, Dustin Hoffman. Already seen as outsiders by their classmates, Gene Hackman and Dustin Hoffman were voted, quote, the least likely to succeed, unquote. The joke's on them. Those that said that about those two, that's for sure. And Gene Hackman got the lowest score on the Pasadena Playhouse. He got the lowest score that the Pasadena Playhouse had given anyone. Determined to prove them wrong, Hackman moved to New York City. A 2004 article in Vanity Fair described Hackman, Hoffman, and Robert Duvall as struggling California-born actors and close friends, sharing New York City apartments and various two-person combinations in the 1960s. To support himself between acting jobs, Gene Hackman was working at a Howard Johnson's restaurant when he encountered an instructor from the Pasadena Playhouse who said his job proved that Hackman, quote, wouldn't amount to anything, unquote. A Marine officer who saw him as a doorman said, Hackman, you're a sorry son of a bitch. But rejection motivated Hackman, who later had said, quote, this is from Gene Hackman, it was more psychological warfare because I wasn't going to let those F words get me down. I'm going to cuss. I'm just going to quote it. So, Mr. Von Spiegel, if you have your grandchildren in the room, you might want to mute it for a second. I guess it's not necessary for me to read it verbatim, but I think it's kind of important just because this is a historically significant, at least I hope it is, time capsule program. All right, ready? All right, I'm gonna swear. It's a quote from Gene Hackman. It was more psychological warfare because I wasn't going to let those fuckers get me down. I insisted with myself that I would continue to do whatever it took to get a job. It was like me against them. And in some way, unfortunately, I still feel that way. But I think if you're really interested in acting, there is a part of you that relishes the struggle. It's a narcotic in a way. It's a narcotic in a way that you're trained to do this work and nobody will let you do it. So you're a little bit nuts. You lie to people, you cheat. You do whatever it takes to get an audition, get a job, unquote. Gene Hackman got various bit roles. For example, in the film Mad Dog Call and on the TV series Tallahassee 7000, and in the United States Steel Hour, also in Route 66, The Naked City, which was filmed on location in New York City, The Defenders that I talked about, starring E.G. Marshall and Robert Reed. He also acted in the DuPont Show of the Week, and East Side, West Side, and in Brenner. And Gene Hackman began performing in several off-Broadway plays, starting with the Saintliness of Marjorie Kemp in 1959, and including Come to the Palace of Sin in 1963. Also in 1963, he made his Broadway debut in Children from Their Games. only had a short run, as did A Rainy Day in Newark. However, Any Wednesday, that's the name of a play, Any Wednesday with actress Sandy Dennis was a huge Broadway success in 1964. This opened the door to film work for Gene Hackman. His first credited role was in Lilith with Gene Seberg and Warren Beatty in the leading roles. Of course, he worked with the latter, Warren Beatty, on screen in Bonnie and Clyde. And we'll talk about that in just a minute. But Gene Hackman returned to Broadway in Poor Richard between 1964 and 1965 by Gene Kerr, which ran for over 100 performances. Gene Hackman continued to do television. He acted in The Trials of O'Brien. He acted in Hawk. He acted in Quinn Martin's The FBI. And he had a small part as Dr. John Whipple, like Mr. Whipple, and don't squeeze the Charmin, Mr. Whipple, in the epic film Hawaii. He had small roles in feature films like First to Fight in 1967, A Covenant with Death in 1967, and Banning in 1967. But Hackman was originally cast as Mr. Robinson in the 1967 Mike Nichols film The Graduate, which starred his former roommate and classmate Dustin Hoffman, of course. But Nichols fired him 3 weeks into rehearsal for being too young for the role. And he was replaced by Murray Hamilton, whom a lot of you may know as the mayor in Jaws. And I know him from that and from episodes of The Fugitive and even The Invaders. Speaking of The Invaders, in 1967, Gene Hackman appeared in an episode of that show titled The Spores, which aired on Tuesday, October 17th, 1967 at 10 p.m. I'm going to play 3 clips. There was a 4th clip I tried to get on my alternate YouTube channel, but it was a little too long. It was, I think, with 5 minutes or less is okay with CBS Paramount. By the way, you should get the Invaders DVD set, the official set from CBS Paramount, if you're into science fiction and drama and you've not heard of or seen that show. If you like V and V, The Final Battle, and V, the series, you're going to like the Invaders. If you like the X-Files, you're going to like the Invaders. It was the precursor to both of those fine productions. So let's look at a clip of Gene Hackman, who is playing an alien. He's a bad guy. He's a villain in The Invaders. And I pulled this from this Good Times Home video. Let me show you the videotape. I should know I held it up for the camera. There's Gene. Then and now. But here is the videotape we're going to watch a clip of right now. There's the front of it. I took a photo for you. There's the front with the $9.99 price tag. By the way, this kind of was disappointing. They were in EP speed. Anyone who remembers the VCR, you had like the EP speed, the SP speed, and the SLP speed. There were 3 speeds. SP, standard play, was the good speed, but it took up more tape. It took up an entire 2-hour tape for 2 hours of content. Whereas in EP speed, you could have about, I think it was 6 hours of content on a T120 tape. I love T160 tapes. They would hold more content, 2 hours and 40 minutes in standard play, the good speed, if you will. But anyway, I was like, damn, I paid $10 and it's an EP speed. So the quality, the audio is not great. There's the back cover of that particular video, which I still have. Look, it's still in the plastic. I would open them from the bottom. Sorry, listeners, I'm showing. That's why you should go to the YouTube channel, the Nostalgic Podblast, and look for, in the live tab, an image of the great Gene Hackman. There's the side of the videotape we're going to watch. And for poops and giggles, there's my autographed 8x10 of Roy Thinnis behind the alien spaceship from The Invaders. So finally, here's the clip. There's 3 clips and they're very brief because, like I said, I would only be allowed about 5 minutes or less, and these aren't that long. Here is the first clip of Gene Hackman from October 10th, 1967 in The Invaders. And then we'll get into his more notable work in film. If I could find the clip. I'm struggling tonight to find what I'm looking for. Here it is. This clip is 4 minutes and 19 seconds long. Let's watch. It includes the opening credits to The Invaders, a Quinn Martin production.
Why don't you play the whole thing, man? What the heck?
No, so what a great cast. Wayne Rogers is in it. I don't want to spoil the thing. And then Randolph, I remember him from King Kong. He was the ship captain in the 1976 movie King Kong. He was blacklisted. They thought he was in the McCarthyism era. John Randolph was blacklisted from Hollywood. But that's a really good episode. The spores, they're like seeds that grow. I'm going to show you another clip from that episode, a shorter clip. But there was a fight scene between the hero, David Vincent, and Gene Hackman's character. It was just a little too long for YouTube standards, so I can't bring it to you. And I don't want to spoil the whole episode, but it's pretty entertaining. And I want to say hey to some folks in the chat before I play that next clip. Hey to Corey's comedy channel. I really appreciate him tuning in. And let's see. He said, can I hit the like button? I just did. Well, thank you. I like you back. Hey to you. I want to say hey to the UFO man. He says, hey, Chance, hi back to you. He has an awesome channel. He has a ton of subscribers, and he probably is familiar with the invaders, but he's into real UFOs, not just fictional UFOs and real sightings. Great to see you, Corey. Corey's comedy channel. He's live Sunday nights from Las Vegas, Nevada on his fine YouTube channel. Very interactive, very fun. He's a very nice guy. Clean comedy. You don't have to hide the kids when you're tuning in to Corey's comedy channel. So I want to say hey to everybody. And if you're watching, Al, Esmeralda earlier said, yay, Al. So I hope you get over your stomach flu or whatever's going on. Seriously, I hope you feel better. That's the main thing. Loved that episode, said Jim Von Spiegel. Yeah, it's a good one. Let's watch a little more of it. Here's a scene, sadly, where Gene Hackman's character whacks a teenager. Let me explain what this weapon is. They have something I call a death disc. It's like this little device. When the aliens put it on the back of a human's neck, it could cause either a cerebral hemorrhage or a heart attack. And this poor kid, who actually was a good character, this kid, you'll recognize his face. He was in the Patty Duke show. He played Colonel Jeffrey Davis III, someone that Patty was dating. He was like a military student. And his older brother is the jerk who steals Gene Hackman's case of alien spores. They think it's jewelry or something, or jewels or something valuable. And so unfortunately, the younger innocent brother gets caught by Gene Hackman's character. He's playing an alien and he whacks him. It's only a minute long. Let's watch the way this is shot and filmed. You don't see any blood. It's not, don't worry. There's no blood. It's not, it's still a little scary, but let's watch this. And then I'm going to show you Gene Hackman's comeuppance. His character gets whacked for doing all these killings in this episode, but let's watch this innocent teenager get 86. End of scene. Wow. Hey, I saw someone pop up backstage. I don't know if that was Tom. Come back, whoever it was. But that is a really cool scene. Now, let's watch Gene Hackman get his for doing these dastardly deeds in the episode, The Spores, which is in season 2. Buy it on DVD from CBS Paramount, as I have done, and I'll prove it. I bought the original DVD release from 2008. Then they reissued them as a full series set with all the seasons combined. That's the first season from 2008. Aaron Spelling's company bought the rights to this show. They bought World Vision. Uh-oh. I got a text saying I'm down on YouTube. Well, it'll come back. All I can do is continue on. I'll play this last clip from that episode. Here we go. So let's talk a little bit about some of the other roles that Gene Hackman acted in. Let's see. After The Spores, although this in production order was shot before that, of course, he was in Bonnie and Clyde. And I want to show you the movie poster for Bonnie and Clyde. He played Buck Barrow in Bonnie and Clyde, and that earned him an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor. So let's look at the movie poster for Bonnie and Clyde, which is right here. Let me get to that. Let's see. Here we go. And I bet Al Hardy has this in his collection somewhere. Let's see. It's right here. There's the Bonnie and Clyde poster. That's one of many Bonnie and Clyde posters. And by the way, Faye Dunaway was so beautiful in that film. And you know who else was in that film? Was Denver Pyle. Denver Pyle later played Uncle Jesse in The Dukes of Hazzard, among many other things. That's probably his most popular role. But then he was in, before that, he was in Grizzly Adams. Grizzly Adams. All right. Now I'm going to go see what's going on. Sorry, listeners. Let me just get to my monitor and see what's up. Well, that was fast. I can tell the show resumed on YouTube. Sorry about that, YouTubers. So that's one time. Did anyone vote? I said, how many times will the live stream go down tonight? That's one. I'm still going to play Gene Hackman getting whacked, though. So anyway, we're back on YouTube. Sorry, I don't think it went down on Facebook or and certainly not in the audio platforms. But what I did was while I was waiting to come back, I talked about After the Spores, 1967 episode. You had the Bonnie and Clyde episode. Look at that cool poster. I love that poster. That's one of my favorites from that film. And in case the YouTubers didn't hear this while we're live, did you know that Gene Hackman received an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor for his role as Buck Barrow in Bonnie and Clyde, the 1967 film? There it is. So let me look up really quickly, which I should have done while we were live. You know, I'm going to put some comments on the screen while I do this. Let me look up the actual release date of Bonnie and Clyde. Bonnie and Clyde was released on, here we go. It was released on August 13th, 1967 in the USA. So actually, it was released just over 2 months before that Invaders episode, The Spores, hit television screens. And it earned $70 million. The budget was only $2.5 million. $70 million is what Bonnie and Clyde earned. What a tremendous hit. And it was a Warner Brothers 7 Arts picture. Warner Brothers Pictures. Very cool. All right, so now we get to the chat. Get to the chat. I love Bonnie and Clyde. And, well, thank you. I know. Thank you. I love those that watch on YouTube that have my back, that let me know by text or by comments when my YouTube live stream goes down. I predicted it would probably go down. It went down that one time, but I'm not afraid. I hope I can play the final clip from that Invaders. It was fine on my other channel. Anyway, Danny Staten says, let's get to the comments as we're live. I wrote a script for a new show a couple of years ago about 2 gay aliens. Oh, he's making a joke from Uranus who come to Earth to do probes called Gay and Gray. Their names as of today, but I never got called back. Gee, I wonder why. Weird joke. Corey's Comedy Channel said, I've been busier than a one-armed cab driver with crabs. Anytime UFO, man. I love your channel because I love UFO sightings. And you report on all that. Hello to Tracy. I mentioned earlier, Tracy's just got a great channel of her own right, on her own right. I would recommend you subscribe to that channel. And let me just get on beyond that because I'm not going to put on the screen you're down. I appreciate it, but it's kind of a downer, no pun intended. To go down is a downer. Let's see. What did Keebler say? That better be the only time you go down. Don't make me go over there. Well. I do need to play that last bit. Let me see how long the clip is because I'm going to risk it. I am going to risk it. And then we'll get back to the movies of Gene Hackman. And then the trivia. I don't know if Mr. Gutfeld may be watching baseball to see what happens. Whoa, with the playoffs as we're live. I don't want to date the show. But let me now find that other clip. Now I'm a little scared to play it. But why should I be scared? If it goes down, I'll do the whole show again. Hello to Brain Benders Bander all over again another time. Chrissy's here. I'll be on her panel tomorrow after a 2-week hiatus. I had other things going on in real life. Brain Benders Banner does a Saturday night panel at 9:30 Eastern time, 6:30 Pacific time, talking about pop culture. And we're talking about horror movies and monsters. By the way, I'm going to do a show, the top 5 monsters on film and TV. And that should be a lot of fun. I wanted to do that with Tom and Al, and we'll see if that works out. I probably will. We got all month. I want to do that before Halloween. I think that'll be a lot of fun from Al Hardy's home studio. Now, let's see. Let me do this. Let me go ahead and play that last clip from The Invaders. It's 1 minute and 55 seconds long, where Gene Hackman's character gets his. Let's watch.
I hope. Wait a minute. Hang on a second. That thing messed up on me again.
Check. Let's watch. Take 5. I know y'all appreciate it. Hopefully it'll come back on. Hey, everybody. I had to play that in its entirety because I think after it's live, it'll come back up. So I'm just going to keep going, man. I know. Super C lives on the edge, says Corey's comedy channel. Oh my God, said Danny Staten. Tracy said, wasn't Hackman up for the role of Archie Bunker? Yeah, we're going to talk all about that. Let me get back now to the biography of Gene Hackman. This one isn't very long. We're going to get on to the trivia in just a little bit. 1970s trivia for prizes as promised. So after that Spores episode, actually not. My source, Wikipedia in this case, is wrong. Unless they mean in production order. No, that still would be wrong. No, he acted in Bonnie and Clyde. That was filmed in 66, not 1967. And then that Spores episode aired on October 17th, 1967. The movie was released in August 67. Anyway, let's just go on. So another supporting role that earned him a Best Supporting Actor nomination. Buck Barrow was in Bonnie and Clyde. I showed you the movie poster. Then he returned to Broadway in The Natural Look in 1967, but it only ran for one performance. And he did Fragments and The Basement, which was off Broadway that same year, 1967. Gene Hackman was in episodes of Iron Horse, in episodes titled Leopards Try, but Leopards Can't. And he was in an episode of Insight titled Confrontation. In 1968, Gene Hackman appeared in an episode of I Spy, which starred Robert Culp and Bill Cosby in the role of Hunter. Not to be confused with Fred Dreyer's character Hunter. In the 1980s, this is in 1968, he appeared in the role of Hunter in I Spy in the episode titled Happy Birthday, Everybody. That same year, he starred in the CBS Playhouse episode My Father and My Mother and the television film Shadow in the Land. In 1969, Gene Hackman played a ski coach in Downhill Racer and an astronaut in the movie Marooned. David Jansen was in that movie as well. Also that year, Gene Hackman played a member of a barnstorming skydiving team that entertained mostly at county fairs, a film which also inspired many to pursue skydiving and has a cult-like status amongst skydivers as a result. The Gypsy Moths. Gene Hackman supported Jim Brown in 2 films. One was titled The Split in 1968 and the movie Riot in 1969. And as I said earlier, Gene Hackman nearly accepted the role of Mike Brady for the TV series The Brady Bunch, but his agent advised that he should decline that role in exchange for a more promising role, which he did. He followed his agent's advice. What would have happened if he accepted that role? We may never know. So let's get on to the 1970s aspect of his career. Gene Hackman was nominated for a second Best Supporting Actor Academy Award for his role in I Never Sang for My Father in 1970. He also starred in Doctor's Wives in 1971 and The Hunting Party also in 1971. Then he won the Academy Award for Best Actor for his performance as New York City detective Jimmy Popeye Doyle in The French Connection, a 1971 movie that broke new roads in cinema. And that marked his graduation into stardom. So let's look at the French Connection movie poster. Let's see. I have it right here. Here it is. Isn't that cool? Let me just pause so you can see it without the distraction of me on the side. Pretty cool. So he was now pretty much an A-lister at this point in his career. And he remained so throughout the rest of his acting career until he retired 20 years ago today in 2004. After The French Connection, Gene Hackman starred in 10 films, not including his cameo in Young Frankenstein, over the next 3 years, making him the most prolific actor in Hollywood during that time frame. He followed The French Connection with leading roles in Cisco Pike in 1972 and Prime Cut also in 1972. And then he was in the disaster film, The Poseidon Adventure. Let's look at that movie poster. I pulled that one for you as well. It is, well, I didn't pull the poster. I pulled a still image, a publicity image from that picture. Look at that. Isn't that cool? And he played a rough, tough preacher. And he had a great scene. Spoiler alert. It was a death scene where he's got to turn a valve and he's hanging above flames and the water. Like, how many lives are you going to claim? Talking to the ship. And Mad Magazine, of course, did a parody of the Poseidon Adventure right there. And there's Gene Hackman, drawn by artist Mort Drucker. And in the parody, let's see, it says, I can't see the top. Everybody, we turned over and we want to be saved. We've got to go up to the bottom. Yes, up to the bottom, because all the people who are down on top are dead. And then this guy says, wait, don't do as he says. Stay right here in the middle. And then someone else says, Reverend, the engineer told me the hull is the thinnest before the propellers. And then Ernest Borgnine's character says in the Mad Magazine parody, and it's also darkest before the storm. Now, will you bug off? Wasn't terribly funny. Usually, and someone says, up to the bottom. Oh, that's Ernest Borgnine. All right, so there's that. And I love the Poseidon Adventure. That was an Irwin Allen film. He didn't direct it, but he directed some of the action scenes, and they had all those tanks of water. I mean, it was before Titanic, which I jokingly call Titanic, released on Christmas Day, 1997, directed by James Cameron. But it was like the Titanic, if you will, of 1972. But then he also acted in Francis Ford Coppola's The Conversation. I love this film. I studied it in film class. And that film was nominated for several Oscar awards, and it won the Cannes Film Festival award. I'm going to try to play the trailer. I'm not going to be afraid. I'm not going to be afraid to play it. I'm going to play the trailer to The Conversation. I will show you the poster right now. I found this one today. It's pretty psychedelic. Look at that. And Gene Hackman's character is a Catholic, but he's also, this is in the era of Watergate and the Watergate scandal. This would have been filmed in 1973, as I said, released in 1974. And Harrison Ford is in it in one of his earliest roles on the big screen. There is one of the cooler movie posters for The Conversation. And I am going to play that clip. Let me look at the chat before I do. I love the picture of Ernest. Yes, the picture, the actual photograph. Let's put that back up. Or not the Mad Magazine parody. This one. I assume that's what you're talking. Yeah, that's a picture. It's not a drawing, so that's what you're referring to. That's cool. Yeah, I like that. Let's talk about. Let's show that trailer to The Conversation. Speaking of The Conversation, let me see if there's anything else in chat. Esmeralda in Washington State says, I loved Mad Magazine. Nice poster. Yeah, I think that's a psychedelic poster. Esmeralda also said, Gene Hackman would not have been good at the Brady Bunch stuff. I agree. He's more of a rough, tough guy. He was Lex Luthor, future Lex Luthor. We'll talk about that later too. Oh, that's a shame. The Facebook Live went down. Oh well, par for the course. I got a little beef. I'll save it for my my fake rant of the week, but it's a real rant. So let me do this now. But thank you, Keebler, for letting me know. What a bummer. Just trying to do a historical documentation here. Damn. The damn bots, they got me. They got me again. Now I don't know if I want to play this clip. I'm going to play it. Let me see something here while I play that clip. As I await the YouTube going down as well, let's look at the conversation. If you haven't seen it, it's a very, very interesting film. Family show. Did I cuss? Did I swear? I didn't realize I did. Not good. Not good. Sorry, Jim Von Spiegel. Let's look at the trailer to the conversation. Great film.
Do you think we can do this?
Later in the week.
December 2nd, 1 p.m., Parabolic Unit B.
Let me tell you something about Harry Cole. The best, bar none. I'll drink to that.
Best what?
The best bugger on the West Coast.
Look, Mark, do you see him? The man with the hearing aid is following us all around.
3 people were murdered.
Had nothing to do with me. I mean, I just turned in the tapes. Bless me, Father, for I've sinned. I've been involved in some work that I think would be used to hurt these 2 young people. No, we're responsible. I'm not responsible. How'd you get this phone number?
We prepare a full dossier on everyone.
That's terrific. The bugger got bugged, huh?
Do you have secrets, Harry? I know you do. Telling me about yourself? Your secrets?
I don't have any secrets.
Don't get involved in this, Mr. Cole. Those tapes are dangerous.
Come on, Harry. Show and tell. How'd you do it?
Let me ask you these questions.
Pretty cool trailer, huh? I like that. I love that movie. I would recommend you see it in case you haven't seen it. Oh, thanks for the bots are out tonight. They're everywhere. Yeah, I noticed on Facebook it was the Invaders clips from CBS Paramount. Those bots got me. So as we're live, I'm trying to file an appeal to get it unblocked while I'm still alive. Anyway, let's get back to the fun of the show. I'm not going to let that get me down. So the conversation, as I said, was nominated for several Oscars, and Cindy Williams was in it. And it was after American Graffiti was released by Universal in 1973. This was a Paramount picture, and it was released in 1974. And then, of course, she debuted on Happy Days in 1975 in the middle of the 3rd season of Happy Days, and then they got their own spinoff show debuting in early 1976 on ABC, which changed the course of her career. And also Cindy Williams, God rest her soul, she auditioned to play Princess Leia in Star Wars for George Lucas. Can you imagine her as Princess Leia? I can, but I think, of course, everything happens for a reason, including my doggone stream going down. So that same year as the release of The Conversation, Gene Hackman appeared in what would have become one of his most famous comedic roles as Harold the Blind Man in Young Frankenstein, which you talked about earlier, Young Frankenstein. And Hackman also appeared in Scarecrow in 1973 alongside Al Pacino. He was in Zandy's Bride in 1974 and Night Moves in 1975 for director Arthur Penn. Let's talk about that movie. That is a very eclectic movie, and it was a movie that was going to sort of brand Gene Hackman as a sex symbol, if you will. And I'm going to show that trailer to that film right now. Night Moves, released in 1975. It's a really great film if you've not seen it. Let's look at the trailer together. Let's say a little prayer to the bot gods. Don't zap me again, please. Let's just try to watch this together. Here's Night Move.
I think Harry would like me to leave.
Well, I don't think that's necessary.
I think Harry thinks it is.
Harry thinks if you call him Harry one more time, he's gonna make you eat that cat.
Gene Hackman is Harry Mosby
Hello, Harry.
in Night Moves.
Oh, come on, take a swing at me, Harry, the way Sam Spade would.
He's a private investigator.
My daughter, Deli. Would you believe Delilah? Well, she's gone.
How long gone?
2 weeks. Go find her.
Making a living
Well, let's say 125 a day and legitimate expenses.
from other people's lives.
You can get cheaper.
Can I get better? You're hired.
Making a mess of his own.
God, you're really prime, Ellen. You know that? I catch you screwing another guy and you attack my lifestyle!
Lifestyle has nothing to do with it!
Night Moves. It's a mystery
I'm looking for Deli Grassner.
Deli isn't around here anymore.
where the suspects are also the victims.
I want to know what I walked into. Ask your wife.
Well, are we going to talk about it?
But a sure ball run with him.
Where the questions
All right, what's it all about, Mosby?
Is there still much smuggling going on around here? Do dogs have fleas?
Where were you when Kennedy got shot?
have too many answers. Where every clue is a lie.
I've been listening to your ping pong talk long enough. What was in Marv Elman's plane? Drugs? Was it drugs?
Night Moves.
Check. Check.
Ah, it's a beauty.
It's a game where every player is a pawn.
Harry Mosby, isn't it?
Every move is a wrong one. And the winner loses everything.
I want to know what it's all about.
I told you what it's all about.
You, what the hell are you all about?
You're asking the wrong question.
Gene Hackman in Night Moves.
Very cool film, very eclectic film. I really like that one a lot, and I recommend that film to you if you've not seen it. Night Moves. And it was trying to make Gene Hackman more like a sex symbol, as I said before, and that was directed by Arthur Penn. Now, Gene Hackman played one of Teddy Roosevelt's former Rough Riders in the Western horse race saga Bite the Bullet, also in 1975. He reprised his Oscar-winning role as Doyle in the sequel, The French Connection 2, released in 1975, and co-starred with Burt Reynolds and Liza Minnelli in Lucky Lady in 1975, which was a notorious flop. After making The Domino Principle, released in 1977 for Stanley Kramer, Gene Hackman was part of an all-star cast in the war film A Bridge Too Far, released in 77, playing Polish General Sosbowski, and he was an officer in the French Foreign Legion in March or Die in 1977. Some war pictures there. Gene Hackman showed a talent for both comedy and the slow burn as criminal mastermind Lex Luthor in Superman, the movie in 1978, directed by Richard Donner, a role that he would reprise in 1980 in the sequel Superman 2 and in 1987 in Superman 4. Now, Superman, the movie and Superman 2 were filmed simultaneously. All the scenes with Gene Hackman were directed by Richard Donner for the first two movies. Going to play a clip, or at least I was. Now I'm a little skittish to do so. Let me check one thing before I roll the next clip. Just a sec. They hate me. The bots hate me. Let me see. So I'm getting some text messages coming in. I know. Nah. It will be back. Let me just text somebody back. Back to the show. So, in the 1980s, Gene Hackman acted in a very, very prolific film, not a prolific film, but a monumental film that we'll get to in just a little bit. It's a very controversial movie. But Gene Hackman in the 1980s alternated between leading and supporting roles during the 1980s. I'm going to play just a brief bit before we get to the 1980s of Gene Hackman playing Lex Luthor in a scene in Superman the movie that is an extended scene that eventually was released on Blu-ray on Blu-ray in this release. This is a great release. It's the 3 hour, it's actually 3 hours and 8 minutes long in widescreen. It's known as the 3 hour long TV version. And Superman, the movie fans were delighted to finally see in widescreen the most complete version of an extended version of this film they'd ever seen before. And this was released, I think, in 2017 by Warner Brothers Entertainment. I encourage you to get it yourself if you want to see all these scenes. It's not junk. There's a lot of action scenes. This is not just fluff from the cutting room floor. I mean, there's some really intense scenes in that extended version. I'm just going to play a couple seconds of Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor. And I'm going to do it because that's what I want to do. And if the stream goes down, and it goes down for good, so be it. I'll try this show another time with less clips. Okay, here we go. Here he is, and he's getting really mad here. This is a scene. Gene Hackman has such a powerful voice. I love it when he plays characters that are enraged. And this is a scene that was cut. And where it is in the film of Superman the movie, it's when he's trying to steal the XK-101 rockets from the U.S. military and the U.S. Army. That's what's going on in the scene. And the first attempt failed because Otis, he put the wrong code of the XK-101 rocket, which caused him not to gain control from his computer of the rocket. So now they're trying to get it again, this time with Miss Tessmacher in her blonde wig, trying to put the correct codes into the missiles so that Lex can take control of the XK-101 missiles. So let's look at just a moment. I'm going to risk it, of Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor.
I'm sorry, Mr. Luthor. I am sorry. I'm sorry. I just got mixed up. I'll go in there and I'll fix that thing, Mr. Luthor.
It's okay, Otis. It's okay. There's another XK-101 being launched at the same time.
See, there's another XK-101 being launched at exactly the same time.
I just said that. No, she said there was an XK-101 being launched at exactly the same time, Mr. Luthor. She
Don't tell me that.
But there is another XK-101 being launched at exactly the same time.
I told you not to tell me that! Please, go. Oh, no, not that. Mr. Luthor, please. She didn't mean it. Mr. Shut up in there!
See, he had just beaten the crap out of Otis. That's why he's got a bloody nose there. And it's funny, on the Blu-ray, there's a different shot from that was in versus the 3-hour version that aired in syndication. I saw it on WGNX channel 46 here in Atlanta, where you see him beating Otis as Otis is hanging off of the back of the ambulance. And when this was put together, it's an entirely different shot. You still see that extended scene of Otis getting his butt beat by Lex Luthor, but it's a different shot. Anyway, so I'm glad I could sneak that in. Now let's get back to the 1980s aspect of Lex Luthor's career, of Gene Hackman's career. As we pivot to the 1980s, let me start over here. Gene Hackman alternated between leading and supporting roles during the 1980s. He appeared opposite Barbra Streisand in All Night Long in 1981. I never saw that film. And he supported Warren Beatty, acted with a Warren Beatty again in Reds, released in 1981. Gene Hackman played the lead in Eureka in 1983 and a supporting role in Under Fire, also in 1983. And Gene Hackman provided the voice of God in Two of a Kind from 1983. That was the first time that Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta were reunited since Grease. And what was notable about that film to me was that Olivia Newton-John said a swear word in Two of a Kind. And they also did a song together. And she said, I'm going to cover the ears of the children. Olivia Newton-John says in Two of a Kind, "Ah, tastes like shit." That was her line. She said the S word. So I thought that was interesting about Olivia Newton-John. God rest her soul. I can't believe she's no longer with us. But yeah, Gene Hackman voiced God in Two of a Kind. But Gene Hackman also starred in Uncommon Valor in 1983, as well as Misunderstood in 1984. He starred in Twice in a Lifetime in 1985 and Target also in 1985 for Arthur Penn, whom he worked with before. And he also acted in Power in 1986. Between 1985 and 1988, Gene Hackman starred in 9 films, making him the busiest actor alongside Steve Guttenberg from Police Academy and 3 Men and a Baby, directed by Leonard Nimoy. Mr. Spock, who also directed Star Trek III, The Search for Spock, and Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home in that franchise. Gene Hackman played a high school basketball coach in Hoosiers in 1986, a great movie that I have seen, which a 2008 American Film Institute poll named the 4th greatest sports film of all time. Now I think would be a good time to play an interview with Gene Hackman talking about Hoosiers. I need to take a break. Oh, I'm so stressed. Just trying to have a fun show with you all. And then we'll get to some other topics and we'll get to the 1970s trivia, assuming the show remains up. And then I'll get to the comments. I'll put them on the screen while this interview's playing. And I don't know if I put comments on the screen, if that would help prevent the stream from going down. If you're blocking the image with comments, would that help? Block the bots? I don't know. I'm not trying to block anything, do anything wrong. My gosh, I do a disclaimer in print in the description of my live shows on social media land. And also in the show itself, I encourage people at the very beginning to buy the official releases or stream the official releases of these films. I guess that's not good enough. People don't like promotion. The suits who control the bots in many cases don't like promotion. I don't get it. I'm not profiting from this. Anyway, let's now look at Gene Hackman talking to David Brenner about Hoosiers.
Okay, welcome back to Nightlife. So it's Preston, Nightlife fans. Well, we're cooking tonight. We have one of the great actors in film today. And we're going to see him now in a clip from his new film called Hoosiers. Let's see it right now. Watch it in the monitor.
Listen up. Here's what we're going to do. Jimmy, they're going to be expecting you to take a last shot. We're going to use you as a decoy. Buddy, you get the ball, give them Jarrell on the picket fence. He's going to take the last shot. All right, let's go. What's the matter with you guys? What's the matter with you?
I'll make it.
All right. Buddy, get the ball to Jimmy, top the key. Lester, just cut the floor. Let's go.
Yeah. Please welcome Gene Hackman. Are you a big basketball fan and you can play a coach? I mean, are you into that sport?
I had to kind of fake it a bit. You know, I played a little bit in high school, but I was not a great basketball player. I love watching the pros, though. And so I had to go, when they were kind of de-coaching some of these kids, I had to go kind of watch, see the way the guy was teaching. They had to de-coach him because the kids were, you know, passing behind their back and the one-handed shots, and they didn't do that in 1950.
That's from the 50s.
From the period.
I think basketball was better in the 50s. I think the rules of the day, you know, I had an idea for basketball. Tell me what you think of this. I think each team should get 100 points and they should play for 3 minutes. Right, because the score is always 98-96. It's never like a big spread or something.
It always gets good right at the end.
Yeah, right at the end it gets like the most exciting. Well, the Hoosiers named after Indiana's the Hoosiers, right?
That's right, yeah.
And you actually went back. You're from there, right?
I'm from Illinois, yeah, which is the little town I was brought up in was just 60 miles from where we actually shot most of the movie. And it was really fun because we had people coming up to us and who were from my hometown. They'd come over, they wanted to be in a movie. And one old lady came up to me and she had pictures of my mother in her purse, the two of them together.
That's great.
Yeah, it was very touching, you know.
That's great.
Real fun.
Did you put them in the movie?
Yeah, we put everybody in. We were desperate for people. You know, I asked them before the film started, you know, if they were having trouble with, you know, guys enough people in the audience. And they said, no, we'd be turning them away. Well, in fact, we did for a while. But at the last game, that little clip you saw, we needed 18,000 people there. Oh. And we were going to shoot 3 nights. And on the first night, there were only 500. So we were in deep trouble. Deep trouble. We were giving away cars and we were giving away money on the hour. And they finally staged, they had a real high school basketball game. And we got enough people at the final night.
Oh, so in other words, they did the real game and then you did your
Yeah, then
film.
We did the...
Isn't it kind of depressing? You go out there, right? Film, let's make a film, you go out and 500 people show up.
Oh, yeah, the director said, it's going to be okay, it's going to be all right, it'll be a dream sequence, a lot of tight shots on the basketball, and, you know,
he was desperate.
He was really faking it, I tell you.
He's desperate. You know, all the different roles, you know, you do you play so many different parts, so many different characters. How do you adapt yourself to play all these different types that you play?
Well, I don't know. I've been real lucky that most of the stuff that's been offered to me is things that I can relate to. And if I can't relate to it, I don't try to take it on. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to be playing Hamlet or that kind of thing, you know. I just have been real lucky.
But when you did French Connection now, you know, you're a real nice guy, you know, and you come off as a nice guy, but in that film, you know, you were real rough in playing that. How do you get to be mean? I mean, you're not a mean guy. You know, that's not you, right?
No.
So,
but I had been in show business a while. That makes you pretty mean. You know? No, I had a lot of trouble with that role early on, the first few days of that. As a matter of fact, I'd said to the director early on, hey, maybe you've made a mistake here. You know, I can't really pop this guy in the mouth. And he said, well, we'll do it later on in the film then. So we redid a scene where I was supposed to be, you know, slapping this kid around. We did it at the end of the film 3 months later. Well, I was ready then. You know, after working in the streets of New York for 3 months, you're ready for about anything.
Well, when you do the different and you play these different roles, you know, as an actor. Now, when you were first starting out, it was a time when they looked at the Hollywood stars, you know, and there was a certain type of guys. Did you think, like, you know, with your look and all, that you'd become a star, a leading man?
No.
Because you didn't have that leading man look for those days.
No, certainly not. And I really started thinking about acting when I was a kid, like most of us do. And I would come out of the theater, having seen an Errol Flynn movie, and look in the mirror in the lobby of the theater and be stunned that I didn't look like that guy. And so I was really, desperately wanted to do it, but I never really thought I could do it until much later when Brando started to act and that kind of thing. And he had a kind of a more common look, although, you know, he was a great-looking man.
Yeah, right.
But he played more common roles, and it was something I could relate to, and I thought maybe then I could do it.
When you got with Warren Beatty, and you did that first film that really exploded your career. That's the one that really did it for you.
Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah, Bonnie and Clyde. And did you know it was going to happen? When you were making that film, it's such a great gangster movie. It's one of our best gangster movies. Did you know while you were doing it that this could be the one that really exploded?
No, I don't think I really even thought of it in those terms. I just thought at the time that it was great fun working with those people. There were 5 of us basically in the, you know, and it was kind of like an ensemble. And I thought, boy, this is great. I guess movies will always be like this, you know. And it's been kind of downhill from there. Not really. I've had a lot of I've had a lot of good times on films, but that was very special. We really had a very special relationship. Just the 5 players in that.
Yeah, and when Estelle Parsons, right, was playing your wife. Boy, she was a pain, wasn't she, in that movie? I mean, didn't you ever feel like slapping her just for the hell of it?
In real life, even.
Yeah, right. Just hold off and slap her before you go on camera. But she was good. All right, we'll be back with more of the show right after that. She was terrific.
I love Gene Hackman. I love watching those interviews. I think it's a lot of fun. I wanted to play a little more of that interview, and obviously the YouTube went down. Anyone that's watching is watching on Facebook Live, and I'm glad that you guys are still with me. I'm going to continue and upload this to YouTube after the fact and do some editing if I need to, but I'm going to keep rolling along. Let's see here. I can't respond to your text right now. I'm live. Anyway, anyone who's watching, all right, so let me now continue on talking about the great Gene Hackman. And I'm happy to say, not the late Gene Hackman. Let me show you a picture of Gene Hackman today that I found. Let me see. Where are you, my little friend? And then we'll continue on with the story of his life. Let's see. It is right here. This is Gene Hackman, recent shot with his wife. And I'll show you more of these shots in just a little bit. These are some rare pictures that I found. And that's Gene Hackman today. He's enjoying life, retired life. He retired at the right time, I would say. There he is. And I just love those pictures. Really good stuff. And now I want to play more of this interview. Gene Hackman's far more interesting than I am. So let's continue on with this interview. This is a 6-minute, 40-second clip with Gene Hackman and David Brenner. I want to play now for the listeners and the viewers. Let's go.
Okay, welcome back to Nightlife. Gene Hackman. Is it true that when you were after the Army, you went to, I think, Pasadena Playhouse? Yeah. That you and Dustin Hoffman...
Not the Army, the Marines. Get it right. It was the Marines. We learned that together. Let's watch. Unfortunately, I have to play it from the top. I just want to interject there. It wasn't the Army. It was the Marines.
Okay, welcome back to Nightlife. Is it true that when you were after the Army, you went to, I think, Pasadena Playhouse? Yeah. That you and Dustin Hoffman were both voted the least likely to succeed? Is that really true?
Yeah, that's true. I think it was a poll taken by the teachers, and it was a way of kind of easing us out. I left immediately. Dusty was a little more thick-skinned. He stayed another year, but I couldn't quite relate to the kids there. They were much younger than I was, much younger. They were 5 years younger. I was 25. I'd been in the Marine Corps. And so I came on to New York, and then Dustin came the following season, stayed with me, and then I introduced him to Bob Duvall, and they had apartments around the city here, New York, for years together. I mean, I'm talking apartments. They were pretty bad. They were, with the hose you need, with the dirty underwear and everything was hanging there. Some really pretty raunchy places, but they had been great pals for years. All 3 of us had.
Well, when you actually did live TV in those days, right?
Yeah, a dramatic live TV.
Weren't you in U.S. Steel Hour?
Yeah, U.S.
Now that was done here in this studio. This used to be the Monroe Theater. Did you ever work this studio?
Probably did. I didn't recognize it. This audience here.
Yeah, we changed it a little bit. You worked. How'd you like live TV? How'd you like?
It was exciting because things would happen, and you'd have to kind of get through it. I never had any of the kind of real leads in it, but I remember one time there was a guy who was really funny in rehearsal. He was really, really wonderful. I had great stories and all that. And of course, they opened up live on him on the night, and he went dry. He couldn't have told you his name, and everybody was sitting around at the card table, and everybody started taking his lines until he finally, after about 3 or 4 minutes, he came back. It was amazing, though. You learn a great deal from that, you know, and not to fool around, you know, when it comes time to rehearsal, to really put the time.
Well, I like live TV. I still remember one time seeing live TV where there was a person, some people were trapped in a dome from outer space, and they said, we can't get out, we can never get out. And the wall slid open, and there was a guy sitting there with the script marking it on. And I had to go over, we'll never get out, slam the door.
I remember seeing one time on live television, and I have a feeling the way it happened was in the early days of live television, they wouldn't allow you to use props because you had to have a union prop man in. So you had to fake it. You'd pantomime whatever, you know, the coffee cupper. And this fellow, there was a telephone on the desk, and he was sitting like you are, and the phone rang. And instead of reaching for the phone, he reached, you know, over towards it and picked it up and started talking to this imaginary phone. And then in the middle of the conversation, realized what he had done and just slowly let it back down and grabbed the real phone.
Well, of all the work you've done, what do you like to do best? Do you like film over TV or live days?
Well, the early days of Broadway were great for me. I did nothing but comedy on Broadway, and you know, really kind of very light comedy to kind of like, you know, situation comedy that you see on television now. And that was great fun because it's good for actors to start in theater. I think you get a great sense of timing and a real sense of professionalism about your craft.
Mm-hmm.
So I would really prefer to do that if I could make the kind of money I make in films.
Well, you got to see this. You know, we're talking about live TV. You're not going to believe it. I'm talking, right? We're talking, and you hear the scratching noise like a pigeon. And that note slipped across the desk. Now let me read it. Oh, you're kidding. This is the note. Wait, listen, you got to hear this, Gene. Listen. Just found out. Someone, we don't know who, it's not signed. Just found out, he just finished shooting Superman 4 in London, and he plays the arch villain. So is this a valid note?
Yeah, I just finished Superman.
How'd you like that? That must have been fun, right?
I play the same character I played in the first two.
Yeah.
Lex Luthor. It's great fun. It's like a license to steal. You know, that character, you can do anything you want with it. I hope. I've already done it, so I hope that it works.
Sometimes, do you like doing some of the characters that you did French Connection too? Do you like staying with the same character? Do you feel comfortable?
I wasn't a great fan of that of going back and doing that one again. I guess we waited about 3 years before they did the sequel to French Connection, and I was off doing other things, and my head wasn't in that.
Yeah. But you had a lot of films that I really enjoyed. Scarecrow. There was the Conversation, and I really thought you were fabulous in. And some of the best films you've done, and yet they never got the real critical acclaim that I thought they should have. Did you ever feel that way, that some of the best things, The Conversation to me was one of your best?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I like that too. I enjoyed Thank you. I enjoyed working on that because it was Francis Coppola, and there were a lot of good actors in there too. You know, Bobby Duvall had a small role, and they took it because they were great friends of Francis Coppola. Harrison Ford was in it, and Fred Forrest, and Cindy Williams.
And you were such a strange character. You were so bizarre in that. You were terrific.
Well, I am bizarre.
Yeah, you are a bizarre man. We'll come back with this bizarre man right after this. You know what's interesting? There are quite a few actors who, in their own lives, do things that are like dangerous or chancy. Like you race cars and you fly airplanes, don't you? Mm-hmm. Why do you think that is that you do?
I don't know. It has something to do with acting. I think it's a concentration and living on the edge and maybe going too far and trying to hold on.
You can live on the edge, but keep acting anyway. We'll be back another night. Good night.
Oh, we're back, and hello, there's Tom Williams. What's up, Tom?
Oh, same old stuff, different day. Is my mic on? Okay, my mic is on.
I hear you. How you doing?
I guess we're seeing a bit of a camera shadow let me get down here. Let me fix this, and let me fix that, and fix this. So you were gone off of Facebook there for a little while.
And YouTube. Now, my YouTube stream got suspended. I'm going to upload it after the fact.
Right.
And it was, I think the first problem was, this is crazy because I had gotten approval on my other channel to post some Invaders clips featuring Gene Hackman,
Right.
and it went through no problem. It detected it, but it said no problem at all. So I thought it'd be okay on the stream. I guess there's different rules for live streaming versus uploading a video per se. I'm just learning this stuff. So I don't know. And then it did go down, but I submitted an appeal as I was live, and so they removed the changes until a decision can be reached. This is a documentary show. It's a nonprofit. Hopefully it'll go my way. We'll see. It usually does.
It's getting to where you can't post or put up anything anymore without somebody or a bot or somebody catching you or saying, no, you can't do that. And even though, if nothing else, you're promoting that show or whatever. Well, I just noticed I got a low battery. So it's kind of like you can't win, and they don't want you to win because they don't care.
I'm just a passionate fan. That's all. I'm just doing a documentary to preserve pop culture history. That's all I'm trying to do.
Well,
I'm not in this.
It's not like you're trying to make a big profit or anything like that. And I don't think there's maybe a small handful of people that may be trying to do that, but they shouldn't run it for everybody. They really shouldn't. But they do.
And I promote.
By the way, I like to go deep.
Thanks. I promote. I need to get it colored though. I don't like the gray. But I did encourage people to buy the CBS Paramount official release of The Invaders, as I have done many times. I've given these as gifts to people. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that'll. After the fact, if any lawyers are watching this to check my appeal, hopefully they'll be cool and see the big picture. That I'm not intending to infringe on any copyright, and I certainly don't own this material. I granted, but I'm trying to promote it because I love it, and I'm so grateful that they released it on DVD for people to buy.
Well, it's a shame they don't see that for the face value, what it really is. That you're trying to promote it. If nothing else, you've made a handful of people or more go out and look for it and order it off of Amazon or whatever the case may be. So,
it's not streaming anywhere either. I mean, you would think CBS Paramount would have a classic TV section, but they don't. They do have Star Trek, which they also own, but I'm surprised that The Invaders is not somewhere on Paramount Plus in their arsenal. Oh, look, here comes Al Hardy.
Well, I think Al was trying to. Oh, there he is.
Al. Hey,
Al. Hello, Al.
Al.
Knock, knock. Al.
There might be a delay. We got to wait for the delay to catch up to him.
I'm here.
Oh,
hey.
What are you bitching about now?
Well, we're complaining about you, mister.
Oh, okay.
No, we're not.
You can complain all you want to. I don't care.
Sarah says hey to you, Al, and to Tom.
Yep. Hello,
She
Sarah.
said hey to Tom earlier. I put that on the screen.
Yep.
Well, you're bitching about being taken off of YouTube or Facebook. Well, I told
for trailers.
Tom on the phone, I got an email from Spotify today.
Right.
And Spotify said that they found an issue with 2 audio podcasts I put up from a show we did almost 2 years ago. Can you hear me?
Yeah. So it's ones that you and I did.
Well, no, this was a show on Ryan DeHughes when he was on. And we played some of his music, and they said, well, some of the music we deemed is copyrighted material, and you need to adjust this podcast. And until you do, you can't post any more audio content on Spotify.
Wow.
And how am I going to do it? Just like delete the show or what?
For those that don't know, Ryan DeHughes is a crooner, and it's his music. It was the singer.
He gave us permission.
Yeah, it's the guy, the actual artist was on the program.
Yeah,
he signed a contract. He signed a contract, and I guess the people that own the music are the ones that decide such things.
Well, he gave us permission, but that's the 2 shows that they're having issues with.
Yeah, but he doesn't have the right to give anyone permission for a conceived CD, even though it's his voice, no more than no more than what's his face can say you can run one of his movies or John Wayne or whatever. He doesn't own it.
He gave us permission, so
But he doesn't own it. He doesn't own
Right.
it. So it's his voice, but he
Right.
doesn't own it.
Well, the only thing to do is just remove it from Spotify.
Yeah, no more than Clint Eastwood say you can run one of my movies, no problem. But he doesn't own it.
No.
You know.
Well, those are the two shows they had issues with, but
yeah,
it's been almost 2 years ago, hadn't it? Or
yeah, it's been at least.
That's the problem, man. New rules pop up all the time, and stipulations, and anything that's in the can that long ago is still subject to new rules and
Tom is
regulations.
right. It's getting impossible to to play stuff. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, it's almost, it takes all the fun out of what you're trying to do, whether it's chance pulling clips or commercials or whatever the case may be.
And even if you pull movie trailers off of YouTube
Good
and
evening,
replay it on
Jerry.
your show, they get upset.
Yeah.
And the trailer promotes films either in the theater for theatrical release or after the fact on home video or streaming.
Well, as Al pointed out earlier when I was talking to him about that very thing, you get the trailers off of YouTube, and all he's doing is resharing them, and they still get you.
Well, Chance always says, well, he's going to use clips from another person's show, but it doesn't make any difference. It's still a trailer.
No, from another channel, from another unofficial YouTube channel.
Yeah,
If it's
but-
okay for them, my logic was it's probably going to be okay for me if I just keep it to 3 minutes or less for fair use.
I wonder if Edison cylinders are free and clear of that copyright issue. Probably not.
Well, here's the thing. I had a warning that was going to expire October 24th for some trivia that I did on YouTube. I had a warning, and that is set to expire October 24th. And so tonight, because of that warning, I got a strike on YouTube, but it says I cannot upload or do anything for a week. So Brainbender's Banner will not be on my YouTube channel tomorrow. It'll be on Facebook, but not on YouTube. But I didn't appeal. The thing is, I did it so quickly, I didn't write, like, I didn't get the chance, because I'm still live, to post my rationale to YouTube and Google. So I don't know what's going to happen. I submitted an appeal to tonight's strike. We'll see what happens. But the strike is set to expire in January of next year. So it's not going to be there for long. No, I think that's okay.
Yeah,
but if you're still out there, Sarah, I'm sure you are. What does that mean? So I submitted an appeal to the strike. I think because I had that warning, that's why I got a strike. It would have been another warning.
If you get 3 strikes, they take your show down.
They take your channel down permanently. Yeah.
No, they'll ban you. You won't be able to.
Correct. And then all the months and years of hard work will be gone, at least on the YouTube side. That's scary. Yeah.
Well, like I said, they take the fun out of it. That's why I haven't done anything in a while, because you have to be very careful about what you do.
Yeah.
I don't care if I lose monetization. I don't care, because the show means more to me. I can make money doing other things. So if that happens, so be it. I don't care. But thank you for letting me know. I would, if the bots are going to be stricter on me because I'm monetized, then I don't want to be monetized. I want to have more creative flexibility.
It's not worth the effort.
No. So I don't know what's going to happen. I guess that's why I got a strike. I was going to be free and clear as of October 24th from that warning, but that's going to expire no matter what, the warning. I know, Keebler, you did, but you know what? Like I said, it's creative control that I want, or not control. Not, I take that back. It's creativity that's more important to me than other aspects. That's what I mean. But thank you.
Well, on another note, I like your goatee.
Me or Tom?
No,
yours.
Oh, thanks. I hate the gray though. Like, it's not gray on my head, but it's gray on my chin. They used to come in red.
You don't dye stuff. You look foolish when you dye your hair.
I used to dye. It used to be jet black. My hairstylist I've had for decades, for a while, like back in 2012.
Yeah.
For headshots and stuff, he dyed it and it looked jet black. It looked like Blackbeard.
Well, when I first met you at Cumulus, you had it. Remember?
Yeah, I sure do. Yeah.
And then you shaved it off.
Cumulus Media, where we worked for years. Yep.
Yeah.
No. Why'd you shave it off when you worked there?
Because I was courting younger women and I didn't want the gray showing up.
Okay.
That's why.
Well, they got that gray for men or whatever. You can.
Yeah, just for men.
Well, you know, men can wear gray hair, but women can't.
Well, I've seen some
Well,
women.
some women can, I
attracted
suppose.
with the gray hair. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll agree, but I'll disagree at the same time because yes, I've seen some women with gray hair. Don't do that, maybe. But I've seen some women with gray hair. Hey, you look good with that. So, you know,
I've had gray hair long as I can remember.
Susan Day looks good,
but I still have it. You know, I'm not losing it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true. That's very true. And anyway, three strikes and you're out. So just, I don't know. Keebler had said, but you can edit out all those different things. Well, you don't know what to edit out anymore because you don't know what.
Right. Well, they do tell you after the fact. You will get a notice, Tom, that'll tell you that it was this, it was that, it was that. You know, and it'll give you options actually.
After
the fact. But you're right. When you're live, your point is yes. When you're live, you don't know because I thought I got these pre-approved, or I did on my other channel. I tried to make sure these clips would be okay, but it was the Invaders clips, and then compounded with one of the trailers that I played for the conversation. I think it was, or no, it was the trailer for help me out, Al. What was that movie you recommended? I played the clip.
What, Night Moves?
Night Moves. It was Night Moves. That trailer got me taken down.
So that's like I told you on the phone. That is what they call a neo-noir, and it's a very popular movie. It's become a cult movie. It didn't make a lot of money when it came out, but it's become a cult movie. And I have sold quite a few insert posters on that, and I got a lot of money for them. Posters bring a lot of money for that movie.
Wow!
I sold an insert for $200.
Whoa!
And I've got about 4 more left.
Al, I mentioned earlier towards the beginning of the program tonight that you have been working with the Library of Congress, who've been buying and preserving a lot of your posters and
bought
artifacts.
A lot of posters from me. Yes, they have.
Have they lately, like in the last 3 months?
Not since last year. Hopefully, he'll buy some more at some point. I mean, they do have a budget. It's a government program, but they do have a budget.
I see.
You know, I sold a lot.
Trump will kill it.
Oh,
That's
come
true.
on now. We don't talk politics here.
I'm just saying Trump will kill it in lieu of Medicare. But anyway.
So you buy it into the project, whatever.
No, I didn't. No.
Oh, I was watching On Patrol live. It was kind of funny.
I'm recording it.
He was in South Carolina. Young. He was 20 years old. And they
tonight? Is this tonight? Let me shut up. I won't interrupt you anymore. Is it tonight?
It was tonight, and they pulled him over. He had a cowboy hat on and everything. But, you know, he had some liquor in the car, some booze in the car. And the guy says, you know, you got to be 21 to drink, you know, liquor and all this other stuff. And on the back of his truck, I mean, the cop was searching his cab and his truck. And he says, I wonder what presidential candidate he's going to vote for, because on the back of his truck, he had this guy pissing on a Biden sign.
Oh, okay.
Oh, God, it's so funny.
Oh, man. Well, I'll watch it. I'm DVRing it now.
Yeah.
Off of Reels. I still have cable. I haven't cut the cord yet. You watch on Peacock streaming.
Yeah, on Peacock. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm watching on the actual channel. Not that it matters. It's funny you can watch these things, different sources. What you got, Tom? Looks like a shoebox.
Well, no, it's
new shoes.
A toy that had delivered to our house.
Did you just burp into the mic? Why would you do this thing?
No, I want you to come to me full for just a minute. Come to me.
He's going to show you Bad Robot.
You know what?
He loves to spoil stuff.
You know what you are?
Well, I know. I recognize the
kill us, Mike.
Yeah.
Golly day. You know.
Show it. No, let's see it. I still haven't seen it.
But anyway, it's Bad Robot, which you already know because Al spoiled it. Bad Robot, and it comes with a very neat box, and he's there.
Cute.
He's all metal.
He's got a head and face like Stewie on the Family Guy.
He does, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And he comes.
Maybe that's where they got the idea from.
I don't know about that, but
well, Bad Robot Productions is through Paramount. The
J.J. Abrams. It comes with a card with
the Tom Cruise latest Top Gun movie
that's
was
a
a
real
Bad Robot
signature
production.
of J.J. Abrams. But what's neat about him is the back of him. That comes off, and I don't know how it comes off. But inside is a bunch of mechanical gears and stuff. And he's heavy. He's rather heavy, actually. And I think his arms are plastic. Everything's metal. This is metal.
But his body is metal, yeah.
He is metal. The feet are metal, but I think the arms are plastic, which are weird. Anyway, that's him right there. I've been wanting him for a long time. When he first came out, he was a Comic-Con exclusive, and he was stupid money. I mean, real stupid money. So anyway, that's him right there, and I think he's very cool. That's just my opinion.
I know what you paid for it.
Well, aren't you something? I'm sure you're anxious to tell everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, you can go back.
It is kind of cool,
No, it is cool. You must admit it's cool.
No, it is. It is kind of cool.
And I finally got something else I've been wanting for a long time too. And I'll show you that in just a second, which I didn't bring over here with me, unfortunately. Hang on just a second. I'll entertain them with some banter.
What are you gonna? Is this show and tell?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, I don't know
my fault.
I don't know why I've been wanting this for a long time, but it's been going for stupid money. You can go on eBay right now and see them, and people want, believe it or not, $800 or $900 for it. I would no more pay that than a man in a moon. And I don't think you would either, because it's Jay Leno.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Look at that chin.
Oh, he's kind of cool.
It's 3D.
Jay Leno bobblehead. And, hey, Dan, hey, you Dan, hey, so, he goes for stupid money because he's, an NBC exclusive that they gave out to the audience members when they came on the show. Quit trying to kiss me. So anyway, you can go back.
What did you pay? What did you pay for it?
I don't want to say, but I didn't pay anywhere close to $800. I didn't pay $200. I paid maybe a little over $100 for it, and but it's
still kind of pricey.
Yeah, it is. But the cheapest one I've seen is $350 before I finally saw this one. I've been looking for a long time, because how eBay will say, "Hey, we've got what you've been watching or looking for," and I finally found one, and I paid what I considered a fair price.
Right.
For instance, the cartoon I got, which is the Warner Brothers Technicolor Chance, it's in Technicolor, of the mouse that Jack built, which is Jack Benny, Rochester, Don Wilson, Mary Livingston, and they're cartoon characters, and they're mice. And at the very end of the cartoon, Jack Benny himself appears on camera in an easy chair. But it's a good cartoon, and I bid $100 on it. I didn't think because I used to have it, didn't I, Al? Remember you helped me pack up on my film one time before, and I think the print I had was LPP or whatever the case may be, but it was still good color. But I paid $100 for it plus shipping, and I didn't think I'd win it. I really didn't. And there it goes. I mean, yes, you do need to hit the thrift stores. I've never seen that bobblehead in a thrift store. So
Sarah doesn't like Jay Leno.
well, it's you don't have to like Jay Leno. That's fine.
Sarah.
I had a headline read by Jay Leno back in 1995.
Yes, you did.
Almost 30 years ago.
Yes, you did.
Big B brand panty liner with built-in flash.
You know, it's a shame he didn't sign those and send the on-air red ones back to the sender. They could have done that.
He's too busy for that, I'm sure.
No. He's got people. He had people.
That's true.
So don't tell me that.
Because it's only a handful, right, that make it on the air. You're right.
Yeah,
it's not like it's hundreds and thousands
of send it back to the person
of items. Hey, let me show you guys something that was sent to me from Rick, who enjoys the Podblast. Very grateful for that. He sent me something to appraise. He's going to sell. I won't give away too much. It's an aviation 16 millimeter film. There's the can. There's the inside of the film. It does not smell like vinegar.
No. It looks like it's about a 400-foot reel. Is that a 400-foot reel?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's 16. And look, he gave me a gift. Here's a letter from him. Said, hey, Chance, thanks for looking at this movie, because he doesn't have a projector. He goes, I have no idea what's on it, but films of vintage airplanes and aviation, I'm interjecting there, are very popular on eBay. I have included a gift for your trouble. Your birth year proof set. It has the last 40% silver Kennedy $50. Oh. Also included is the return shipping label. Thanks again, Rick. And there's the gift. Oops, I should have tilted it sideways, but because he'd asked me, he goes, what year were you born? I'm an old fart. I was born in 1970. I told him that. I told him my actual date, which you could Google. If you Google my name, it's all right there. I can't hide it. Somebody put on IMDb my birth date. I was told I looked younger than my age, and when I, and somebody, it wasn't me. Someone on an International Movie Database uploaded that I was born in White Plains, New York on November 21st, 1970.
So do you use the AARP at all?
No. So
you can.
There's that. I got something to tell you guys. Have you heard about this incredible comic book collection that's selling on Heritage Auctions? It has like the very first appearance of Superman.
No.
6.0 restored. Here's some samples of it. First, Robin Batman.
Right.
Those are some of the books from this collection.
So are they selling them as the collection? Or are they
the entire collection? It's over $1 million.
They're not piecemealing it?
No, let me find the article really quickly. Oh, it's right here. And then I got to get back to Gene Hackman. Okay, One Woman's Complete DC Comics Collection. I heard about this on Superman Homepage Live Wednesday night. They're on every Wednesday night. Presently, they used to be Monday night at 10:30 to 11:30, 1 hour show live. Superman homepage, subscribe to their channel. But here's the article real quick. One Woman's Complete DC Comics Collection, amassed over 50 years, is now up for sale. Christine Farrell's collection could fetch hundreds of thousands at auction. No, it's going to be at least $1 million. For over 50 years, Christine Farrell quietly amassed comics across a wide spectrum of artists and genres. The Burlington, Vermont native owned a popular local comic book shop in the city named Earth Prime Comics, but otherwise collected mostly in obscurity. By the 1980s, a decade into her habit, she had about 8,000 comic books piled to the ceiling in a bedroom. But by the 2020s, she had some 30,000 comic books.
Wow.
Quote from her, everybody needs an outlet of some kind or other, end quote. Farrell told the Associated Press back in 1983. She said, you protect yourself into a fantasy world where the superhero always wins. It's an escape, unquote. Almost done with the article here. What marked Farrell out as a collector, though, was her complete set of every DC comic issue from 1935 onwards. Wow. That's worth way more than hundreds of thousands of dollars. I know condition's a factor. A collection she built up from 1970, the year I was born, until 2007. She was the first person ever to archive such a feat. The publisher even reached out to her when it was unable to reproduce specific books. Wow. Now, following her death in April of 2024, Farrell's legendary collection is up for sale at heritage auctions where it could rake in hundreds of thousands of dollars. No, it's going to be millions.
Well, who was left the collection?
I don't know. The article's almost over here. Significantly, the auction features a handful of first edition issues. Chief among them is Farrell's copy of Superman #1 from 1938. Let me put that one back on the screen really quickly.
Well, just that alone will bring $1 million, won't it?
Correct. It's restored though, but it's a 6.0.
Yeah, but that's a holy
6.0
grail.
out of 10. I've never seen a 10. But you're right. Yeah. Here we go. So this book, all right, the first appearance of Superman, which effectively kicked off the superhero genre, the current bidding is at $17,500. A copy of this landmark issue fetched $1.6 million at auction last year in 2023. Additionally, there are her editions of 1935's New Fun Comics #1, the very first DC comic book ever produced.
Wow.
And I have that one to show you. I put it on the screen a moment ago. There it is. Fun. Look at that. And where is the rest of this article? Here it is. Okay, there's Fun Comics #1, the very first DC book ever produced, and 1940s Double Action Comics #2, of which there's only 7 existing copies. 7 of that book. And it says from Lon Allen. Here's a quote from Lon Allen, like Lon Chaney, Lon. Lon Allen. Her dedication was simply remarkable, said Lon Allen, the auction house's vice president of Heritage Auctions, in a statement. He said, she did most of this pre-internet. This collecting was pre-internet. Now, you could put that collection together in several years if you had the money. But back then, tracking down every book took real devotion.
Well, her owning a comic book store helped.
Correct. People would sell their collections to her. And she did not own a single graded or certified comic book. They were in Mylar sleeves, thick plastic, in boxes, sometimes in piles. It was clear that she just wanted to read these books, no matter how many thousands of dollars they were worth, unquote.
Mercy.
And to answer your question, the auctioneer also noted that Farrell's comics were not only rare, such as the 3rd issue of Detective Comics from 1937, Batman, of which only 17 copies have been authenticated by certified guarantee company CGC, but most remain in good quality, good condition. Among these are a copy of All-Star Comics #3 from 1940, which featured the first appearance of superhero Team Justice Society of America, which is now bidding, as this article was published in early October 2024, for $4,100, and All-Star Flash issue 6 from 1942. Wow. CGC's highest ever graded copy, and that's going for $1,450. That's going to go a lot more than that. And at the moment, the star lot remains Action Comics #1, the star of the lot. This article, it didn't say of the lot. They need an editor. This online article had an error, which I just read verbatim. At the moment, the star of the lot remains Action Comics #1, 1938, first appearance of Superman. The bidding started at $100,000. This prized issue, which introduced Superman to the world and launched the golden age for the industry, hasn't just been a holy grail for comic collectors, but downright valuable. In May, Heritage Auctions sold one copy for a whopping $6 million. It's now the world's most expensive comic book in history.
Wait, which one is up? Which one?
Action Comics #1, the first appearance of Superman, this book.
Yeah, okay.
That's not the copy that sold for $6 million. It was a higher grade copy and not restored. But, I mean, that's the auction's other highlights include key pages from Bernie Wrightson's Swamp Thing #1, 1972. Big deal. And Frank Miller's Batman The Dark Knight Returns #4 from 1986. Big deal to that, too. Both currently bidding from 5-figure sums. Heritage Auctions will offer more books from Farrell's collection through 2025, continuing a sale that began in September 2024 with the auction of New Comics #1 from 1935, which fetched nearly $8,000.
Wow.
And
yeah, you're right, Keebler.
The author of this article is Anni, A-N-N-I, Irish. So that's why there's probably grammatical errors.
Well, doesn't there's a gentleman, there's one of these rich Arab people who has the number one comic as well. I think his might be a 9.8 or 9.9. I think I saw, and I forget what he said he paid for it, but he paid a little over $1 million for it, from what I remember. So that comic alone will bring stupid money. Anyway.
Yeah.
What happened to Gene Hackman?
We'll get back to Gene. I wanted to know your all's favorite Gene Hackman movies. And by the way, I talked about this earlier if you weren't here. I want to do a show at Al's studio sometime this month where we talk about our top 5 movie monsters on the big screen or the small screen. It could be an Outer Limits monster. It could be Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Francis Ford Coppola directed The Conversation with Gene Hackman.
Yeah. Right.
And I watched a podcast with Francis Ford the other day on YouTube. He's quite an interesting man.
Yeah.
And he really loves Gene Hackman. He said he's one of his favorite actors. And his favorite movie that Gene Hackman was in is not The Conversation, but The French Connection.
Yeah.
And he thinks The French Connection is one of the best films ever made, according to Francis Coppola.
Do you think that Hackman will appear? Now, I know he's retired, but so was Sean Connery. But he got lured back into doing a movie. You think Hackman will ever do another movie?
I doubt it.
If the right person, was it Spielberg?
He looks a little frail. Look, here's how he looks today. I mean, the man's 94. Look,
I think he lives in New Mexico.
Yeah, he does.
Look here.
But that's okay. So did.
I'm not knocking him. I'm just saying. I mean, he's
moved
on. He's moved on.
Henry Fonda. In his last movie, he was cancer ridden and whatnot. But I'm just wondering whether you think he'll ever appear in another movie. And if he does, boy, I bet that movie would do gangbusters. But unless it's a Hallmark movie,
he's not going to come back. I say he's not. No,
no.
Why would he?
He's done with acting. He's not going to come back.
He's not going to do it.
Yeah, but never say never.
I don't think I have a favorite Gene Hackman movie. The Unforgiven he was in with Clint Eastwood. But did you know who wrote the story of The Unforgiven? You know who wrote that story?
Yep. Tell us.
Francis Coppola.
Right.
And he actually wanted to make that Western, but they were telling him, well, Westerns aren't popular anymore. This is back before, and so he gave the idea to Clint Eastwood, and Clint Eastwood, through his Malpaso company, made the movie, and it won all kinds of awards. Yeah. But Francis Coppola wrote the story for The Unforgiven. How about that?
I was going to play that trailer later on. I still might. Yeah. We'll see.
I would do it silent.
Well, maybe I could mute it.
You don't need to be playing the trailer. You can just play it silently. You can't play the audio.
I mean, I won't do it while you're on. I mean, after you sign off, I'll do it. And because I'm on Facebook, I want to have a complete show for my audio platforms. And
I liked him in Mississippi Burning. I thought he was good in that.
That's one I'm going to show too, a trailer. That's a very powerful film, very disturbing film.
But
sure.
he was a B actor in a lot of movies. When I mean a B actor, he wasn't the main star.
Supporting, correct.
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's so many films that he was in that he was the supporting actor, like you said. And did he have that many quote unquote starring roles after The French Connection? Or
sure.
When William Friedkin approached Gene Hackman to do The French Connection, Gene Hackman did not want to do it. He said, I'm not interested. I just don't care to do this movie. And he did it, and he was the star attraction. Yet they talked him into it.
No Way Out. A lot of people say it was Kevin Costner. That's his big starring vehicle. Right. But Gene Hackman was the big star of that film. And Gene Hackman got top billing over Christopher Reeve in the Superman movies. At least the first one. It was Marlon Brando, Gene Hackman, then Christopher Reeve.
Yeah.
He did a play. He did a play on I think it was off Broadway, of Any Wednesday, before he even made a movie. And that's how he was discovered. He was in an off-Broadway play called Any Wednesday, which Jane Fonda actually did the movie years later. But He in his first movie, actually, I thought it was Bonnie and Clyde, but that was his second. His first movie, he was in a movie called Lilith with Warren Beatty in 1964. That was his first movie. And then he was cast in Bonnie and Clyde in 1967.
I agree, Keeper.
What?
Hey, can I just say something? You know, it's Sarah's mother's birthday weekend.
Oh,
well, happy birthday to your mom, Sarah.
Let's do it. Let's sing her happy birthday.
Well, that's copyrighted, so
that's copyrighted. We can't do that.
That's pretty quick. You're right. You're right. You know, in Lost in
I
Space,
think that copyright got pulled.
in the classic Lost in Space, there was a season 2 episode called The Toy Maker, where I think Smith and Will and the robot got trapped inside the Celestial Department's ordering machine to get a present for Penny's birthday. And when they get out of the toy machine, they can't sing happy birthday. The robot brings in a cake and he's singing, and it's Bob May, the guy inside the costume, singing, not Dick Tootheld, dubbed over Bob May's voice. And he's singing, today is Penny's birthday, today is Penny's birthday, today is Penny's birthday, we wish you many more, we wish you many more. That song. They couldn't do happy birthday back in 1967.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you can. Now you can.
You can't do that.
So happy birthday to Sarah's mom.
Yes.
Well, then let's on 3. Let's sing her happy birthday. Sarah, you have the code to come backstage. Is your mom presentable, or even if it's just you could play it for her if you want to pop on. Let's give her a moment in case there's a delay. If Sarah, you want to come on, now's the time. We're gonna sing your mom happy birthday, and then we'll get back to Gene Hackman. I'm gonna try to play a trailer. She said yes. Okay.
In the meantime,
what's that?
I said J-Lo says.
All right, take your time.
I'm just trying to be a network time killer.
Well, why don't I play a trailer while we talk? Why don't we talk over this trailer?
Why don't you play the trailers after? Well, we can talk over it. It's fine. You can't play the audio.
In order, I did have a couple to stay on topic trailers featuring Gene Hackman. Let me just find. I already played the conversation.
Sure you talk over them.
Oh yeah, I'm good.
Let's play really low.
Let's play The Unforgiven since that came up. Oh wait, here comes Sarah. Hey, Sarah.
Hey, I gotta give my mom the headphones and put her back on the camera away.
Oh,
okay.
There's your lovely.
Get ready to sing, guys.
Wait. So,
Mom,
what's your name? I don't think we heard your name.
Mom.
Just like
I know, but I won't say it. I think she wants to be private, incognito. All right. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday,
dear mama. Sarah's mama. Happy birthday to you.
And many more.
On
Channel 4.
And many more.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
And Tom is on Channel 4. He's the director of the Weather Channel. He's one of the directors on the Weather Channel, this guy.
Yeah. So
Hi,
how
Weather
you doing,
Channel
Sarah's mom?
I'm okay for an old lady.
You
don't look old. You look great. You look great.
You cannot be as old as Al, the guy down there.
Wait a minute. I'm old.
Well, I don't know. How old is he?
He's of 79.
Okay.
I'm not quite that old. I'm not quite that old.
Close though.
No, he's not quite that old, but he's getting there, just like we all are. You know,
it happens. I don't know.
I tell you what, I'm just happy to wake up every day.
Yeah. Wake up on the right side of the grass.
That's right.
Now, do you know what this nice lady did for a career before she retired? Just take a guess. It was a service.
Oh.
A service, a national service we all use as collectors. That's a hint.
She was worked at the post office.
Ding, ding, ding. Very good.
Ding, 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 ding. I think I worked there about 10 years.
Yeah.
And then I worked for the school district here in town for about 30.
Right.
In California.
So
in California.
So how do the people, I'm talking people, I'm not talking any ethnic or anything racial or anything. How do you pass the exam to work for the post office when the manual is like that thick? And
yeah,
I mean, did you have to take a test?
Yeah, we all had to take a test, but they gave veterans preference.
Oh,
They would, whenever
wait,
the
so you're a
veterans got
veteran?
their test, they would pad their test with like 10 free answers.
Oh, so you're a veteran too?
No.
Oh.
I worked for the Air Force, but in a civilian capacity
Oh, God.
Oh, that's cool.
before the post office.
Wow.
And before that, I worked at defense contracts there again in a
You've done
civilian
a lot of
capacity.
stuff. You've done a lot of stuff, girl. You go.
That's cool.
That's very cool. Man, you've had 4 or 5 jobs or maybe more. That's fantastic.
Wow. You got to pay the bills.
Well, you do. So you got pensions from all those jobs, I hope.
No, as a matter of fact, that's a long story. We don't want to even go there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bring up a sore subject. Well,
Yeah.
happy birthday. Did Sarah take you out to eat or something, I hope?
Oh, no, I took her out to eat.
Ah, Sarah.
That's good.
That's an Al Hardy trick. Did you hear me? That's an Al
I don't know what they're saying, so.
He says it's an Al Hardy trick.
No, I didn't. It wasn't my idea. Nah, the
No.
waitress. It's
Well,
like, what do you want to do if we worked out? And I was like,
I
I'm
hope you
hungry.
treated yourself.
She came up with it.
somewhere good.
And the place.
Yeah, one of my favorite places to go.
Which is where?
It's a little cafe called Annie's,
Uh-huh. Okay.
Oh.
Lake
Okay, good.
Elsinore, California.
I had the Man Italian for supper tonight, which Al has been to. You've been to too, as Chance, and it was horrible tonight. Ugh.
You like
good.
Mad Italian. You like Mad Italian.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I went to the Mad Italian and had a
Oh.
pizza, and it was dry. It was horrible. So I hope your meal was pleasant and had good company because you had Sarah.
I had the Sarah with me. Let's
Yep.
see. There she is.
Yeah.
Okay,
My
that's-
baby girl.
Did you take any birds with you?
No, not this time.
May I ask, do you have a favorite Gene Hackman movie to each of you, or is there any performance that really stood out?
I think I've only seen one Gene Hackman movie. And don't tell me, I'll tell you what it is. Just hold on. It was probably in the days when I used to go see rated R movies. I don't do that anymore. And my sister wanted to go see it. So that's probably why I went to see it. I think it was about drugs in New York.
French Connection?
The French Connection.
Yeah, probably The French Connection.
Yeah, because you yelled at me for watching that one time on TV.
Yeah, I said, don't watch that.
It was a great movie. I liked it. It was on TV, so.
Yeah.
Was Hackman in French Connection too, Al?
Yes. Oh, you asked Al.
Yes.
Okay.
Was he?
Well, good. Well, I'm glad I'm glad you saw at least one Gene Hackman movie.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. I think I saw another one.
Ding, 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 ding.
Bonnie and Clyde.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We all watched that together. I remember
I
that.
think Al said that was the second movie. Is that right, Al?
What was the movie again?
Bonnie and
Bonnie
Clyde.
and Clyde.
That was the second, 1967.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to the we went to the movie theater in Inglewood.
Oh.
Yeah, that's where
I don't know if
grew
that would be rated R by today's standards, or even if it was then. I don't think they had R rating back then, but it was violent at the end when they got shot up. It was, back then, that was something.
I thought it was
to see.
horrific.
It's
Yeah.
probably rated M for mature.
Mature.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we were in the 8th grade, I believe, when we went to go see that.
Oh.
Now you're starting to tell you how old I am.
Wait a minute. Let me figure it out.
You know, Gene Hackman was in a kind of a quirky movie I like, The Royal Tenenbaums.
Yes, that was a good movie, actually.
Yeah, that was
So
kind of but I liked it.
I like that one too. You might have been starting middle school, starting the 8th grade, because it was released in August of '67 before Labor Day. And that was back when school didn't resume until Labor Day. Here, kids go back August 1st, but it's more like a year-round situation where they have winter breaks and stuff. But yeah.
Yeah.
Sarah, what about you? You're all quiet over there. What about Gene Hackman movie? Do you agree with Mom? Your favorite Gene Hackman movie? Oh,
wait, what?
Put the headset on.
Your favorite Gene Hackman movie? Do you agree with
Mine?
Mom? Yeah.
Well, I don't know what she said. What was her favorite one?
Bonnie and Clyde and French Connection, the only two I've ever
No,
seen.
you saw Superman too. Yes.
Oh.
Oh, yes. You saw Superman.
Oh, I guess I've seen that one.
You don't think of him because he's not really the star. You know, he's one of the stars.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, although he got top billing in the first over Chris Reeve.
He was in that movie called The Birdcage too.
Birdcage.
Was
See
it
that?
Birdcage?
Yeah.
Birdcage.
With Nathan Lane.
Which Nathan Lane and Robin Williams.
And
right?
Robin Williams, yeah.
But what part did he play in that one? I don't remember.
I don't know. Came out in 1996. He was in it.
Oh, that's a nice fez.
He was in Crimson Tide. I liked Crimson Tide.
They call
That was a very good one.
Alabama the Crimson Tide.
Yeah, that was a very good one with Denzel
Call
Washington.
me
That was
dear.
probably, that's probably one of my favorites of his because it was a very intense movie, and it was very good. It was.
He's very good.
Yes.
Very good.
He played the daughter's father. What? Now was that considered? Now I'm talking about the Birdcage. Was that considered a bit part? I hate to say bit part, but I don't remember him in
Co-starring, supporting. Hey, that Fez has won me a lot of Scrabble games with Mom. I play Scrabble once a week, most weeks with my mom. And Z is a 10-point word, and you go for the triple letter or the double word or whatever. And I've used Fez a lot because that is a real word. As you well know, you're wearing a Fez on your head.
So
Anyone
Al,
that's listening.
do you know what's on my Fez? Can you see it? Al,
Let me zoom.
Al,
Birdwing.
See it.
pay attention.
It's a tube. It's a tube.
What is it?
A 6L6 tube.
It's a vacuum tube.
Yeah, it's probably a 6L6. That was a vacuum tube.
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah, we had them in the TV when we were
Yes,
kids.
you had them in the TVs, you had them in the radios, but you did not have them in the Edison cylinder players. So they didn't have any tubes in them. But
Sarah's beloved Uncle George used to come over and work on our TV when we were kids. And he'd pull all the tubes out.
oh yeah, he has a tube tester with him.
And he'd test all the tubes. And then after he'd tested them all, then he'd go to the store where they had a tube machine.
Yes, they did.
And then you traded in your bad tubes for your good tubes.
I remember that. I remember that well. I remember it's usually by the exit doors of every supermarket, every big supermarket. And boom, there they are. Sylvania tubes, RCA tubes. I mean, all mostly Sylvania, though. I don't know why was Sylvania so big in tube making back then. I guess that was a big money maker for them.
And also flash bulbs.
Yes,
That's right. Flash bulbs. You're right.
Sylvania flash bulbs. You're right. For the instrumented cameras, the cube.
Yeah, the cube. Turn. Wait a minute.
Of course,
Turn.
You know-
Turn.
Yes. And if I didn't have all my stuff packed up, I could reach over here and pull that camera out and show you that camera that took that bulb. Not the cube, but the other Kodak camera, which I've got, which takes the big flash bulb, which you would usually grab while it was still hot and burn your hand.
Yeah. Ow. Yeah. My aunt and uncle were the family photographers.
Yes, there you go. So, and I remember my dad, we're going to cut off the subject again. That's what happens when you get all three of us together. We get off the subject so easy. But real quick, my father had a Brownie camera.
A Hawkeye.
8mm camera. But he had the sun gun, which had like 4 big bulbs. And when you turn that sucker on, it was like French fry lights. And that sucker would
they were very bright. Yes.
What did you say?
Yes, everything. It would light up everything. But anyway, I don't remember to this day what powered that light because I was too little, I guess. I just remember that light being so big and so bright. It was on a bar with like 4 bulbs, and they were hot as you know what. So,
yeah.
Do you remember Al? Did they have a battery pack for that back then, or just?
I don't think so. I had a set of those lights, and I still have my 8mm camera, but I don't. I mean, I don't.
I've got the camera too, but I don't have the lights.
I don't have the lights anymore.
They were in a metal container and everything. But
it was a metal bar. It was green usually, and it had the 4 lights on it.
Yeah. I guess it's plugged into electrical outlet or something. I guess. I don't remember. Chance, do you remember?
No.
No, I'm not. I'm not flirting with Mom.
Keebler says Tom is flirting with Mom.
I'm being respectful. I'm being very respectful.
And Sarah's laughing. Those who are listening, I'm putting the comments on the screen. Sarah's laughing.
I can't see anything. I've got my glasses off.
So
Keebler says Tom is flirting with your mom. Smiley face. I wrote LOL.
So what is the big gift? Now, what does a person of her virtue get for the birthday on a day like that? Today, with the exception of maybe a meal, is there anything you wanted for your birthday and didn't get, or are going to get, or anything like that?
No, I'm not materialistic.
Good.
Wait a minute.
Except for yes.
I wrote her a birthday song.
She wrote me a birthday song. I haven't got to listen to it. I started listening to it, but I had to stop because
your friend called.
My friend called. You know, she's always in trauma and drama.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But she's 2 years older than me. She tries to tell me she's the same age, and I said, "Oh no, you're 2 years older." I am, she said.
So, Sarah, what did you write the song with, and on a keyboard or guitar?
Oh, she's a Suno girl.
She's what?
Yeah, sorry. I've listened to the show. It's delayed, so I'm not here, so I can actually hear.
Oh.
So, what did you write the song with?
What? No. I don't music like that. I type on Suno.
Oh, gotcha. You know who I myself? I'm looking at myself and I look like Frankie Valli. Have you seen those videos of Frankie Valli where he's singing and he doesn't move, he doesn't blink?
He was lip syncing that. That was pretty pitiful.
Yeah. Well, he's 90-some years old.
Well, he should have never even tried to get on stage and sing.
Well, no. You want to see something? Wait a minute. If you want to see something pitiful. If you want to see something pitiful and embarrassing, unfortunately, and I hate to say this about him, watch Wayne Newton. Wow.
Well, he kind of looks like a freak now.
Darling, he's had too many facelifts.
Yeah, he's all over TikTok with his Vegas show. Horrible. Oh my gosh. It's painful to watch. Al, have you seen any of the clips?
What?
You seen any of the clips of Wayne Newton?
On TikTok?
Yes.
No, I haven't.
Oh, they're horrible.
Let me look.
Send you one next time. Oh my gosh. You feel so bad for the guy. He must need the money. I guess, because he's playing in a small venue in Vegas, and he hits the stage and he has a handler, come out and tell the audience that when you see Wayne, you need to break into spontaneous applause and blah, blah. She tells them how to act and everything. And so, I don't know. Anyway, back to Gene Hackman.
I typed in Wayne Newton on TikTok and it didn't come up anything.
Well, I'll send you a link. I would say Chance a link, but he doesn't do TikTok at all.
Ladies, I don't want to interfere on your birthday celebration any longer. I appreciate you coming on. Let us sing happy birthday and chit chat with you. I guess I'll just talk to the fellas and play a trailer of a Gene Hackman classic.
Well, you can play it while they're still. You can play it while they're still here.
I could watch it.
Okay,
that's right.
All right.
Is it rated PG-13?
Yeah. All trailers are definitely family friendly.
But
let me try to play it, and we can talk over it. Let me get it. This is the trailer for. I wanted to play these in chronological order, but I was going to play. Let me play the No Way Out trailer. Yeah, let's do that, and then I'll get to the next one, and we'll get to The Unforgiven. Let's watch No Way Out.
Al, you narrate. Go
Roll
ahead.
it.
Well.
Ford, watch down, sir.
We could use a hero. Get him here. Commander, glad to have you with us. As my assistant, you'll function as liaison between this office and the CIA. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know I work for Bryce?
Secretary of Defense. And that makes two of us.
This one can do things for me like no other woman I've ever met.
Oh no, David's here.
Who are you with this weekend?
Nobody.
I pay the rent. Tell me who it is.
It's not a pig like you!
I think I killed Susan. You saw me. Maybe you didn't see it.
He saw me. She had a photograph.
He was the man who killed
Woo! Proof! What do we have on the dead woman?
It looks like he spent the weekend with her, and then he brought her home and killed her around midnight. The man we're after is a spy and a murderer.
They mean to kill me, Sam.
I'm the one in the picture.
If it were your intention to bring down David Bryce, I'd have to make sure that you didn't get away with it.
You have no idea what men of power can do.
Wow.
I was a projectionist when that
Wow,
movie
is
came out.
right.
You guys, just when I play the next trailer, it will automatically mute you. Tom and Al, you have to unmute yourselves to talk. The ladies, I could hear them, I could hear me, but yeah, just saying. What about that movie? Did you guys see that in the theater? You were projectionists. These guys, Al and Tom.
I built a print up back in the day.
Let's explain that 35 millimeter prints were on platters. Each reel was a huge reel. When you say built, you spliced it together, correct?
They were 20-minute reels.
Right. And he still has 35 millimeter. He has two 35 millimeter projectors.
A movie back then would come on 6 to 7 to 8 reels if it was just a regular movie.
Yeah.
If it was an epic like Lawrence of Arabia, it would come on 13 reels.
Yes.
Wow.
Indeed.
And you splice them all together.
I'm going to play another trailer. This is for Mississippi
Where's
Burning.
Tom going?
What?
This is where's Tom going? He's probably going to the little Tom's room.
Oh.
All right, now Al,
We didn't have a bathroom down there.
Al, if you want to speak during this, you have to unmute yourself. Just saying.
What I mean,
I think there's a button. Well, when I play it, look at the little mic thing. It'll say muted. You have to just tap it, and it should unmute. It's a simple thing. You're a board op. You know how to do these things.
It's not muted.
Well, I wouldn't let me unmute you. It showed that you were muted, and I couldn't. It said that you had muted yourself.
It automatically muted it.
Right. So you have to unmute it. That's what I'm saying.
Hey.
All right, ready? Let's watch the Mississippi Burning trailer. Very serious film.
Yeah, this was a very disturbing movie.
Where does it come from?
This played
All
at the
this
Lawrenceville 10 when I was a projectionist.
Well, you'd think it might be a little more serious than missing persons.
About racism in a small town in Mississippi.
Some things are worth dying for.
You admire these kids, don't you?
Getting overtaken by the car.
Don't you? Did it ever occur to them they're going to end up dead? Maybe. I'm looking for some information.
Gene Hackman comes to the town to clear up the corruption.
I ain't got nothing to say to you, sir.
And he's quite good at it.
Do you honestly think you people be down here at
I
all?
love this thing where he hits Brad DeWolf in the
Maybe not, Miss.
Mrs.
How come they have French
I guess they know we're here.
And I'm here to tell you our niggers were happy till those beatnik college kids came down here stirring things up. Before that, there wasn't anybody complaining. Nobody dared.
I can't see it.
What's wrong with these people?
Willem Dafoe's in it too. He's really good.
They really blew up that house. That's not CGI. Yeah, look how young William Dafoe was. Incredible. Incredible.
It's a great movie.
Oh, I never watched that.
I said young Winnie.
The audio seemed to overpower Tom's mic and Al's mic. I could hear a little bit, but I don't know on the replay. Oh, look, there's a 35 millimeter reel that Tom's holding up.
This is the kind of reel that Al would build his prints up on.
Yes.
Wow.
A big 3,000. It's called a 3,000 foot reel, and that's how thick the film is. But
It's
Al,
ginormous.
Yeah, but
Now,
that's
when
not even the
I
biggest-
built a print, I used 2 of those and put the movie on both reels, and then I would wind them on the platter.
Now, even bigger than that is a 70. Look how wide that is. That's 70 millimeter, and Al would built up a print of over at Emory University. Emory University had a film program. And
Yeah, I
he
ran
built up-
70s over there.
Yes, and they ran 70 millimeter, which is quite a bit thicker, if you want to say width-wise. And he built up a print of what was the print you built up, Al?
Lawrence of Arabia.
Lawrence of Arabia. I've got a picture of him somewhere sitting on all the cases.
Sitting on all the cans, yeah.
Yes, there's a ton of cases.
They were all out in the hallway,
Yes.
outside the projection room.
Yeah, but that's 35 millimeter and 16 millimeter, which is what we all collect. It's half of that gauge, so that's pretty cool.
And when I saw Titanic with my girlfriend, the film broke right when the ship went down. The screen, the lights come on. Everyone was taken out of the movie, and they were not happy. Back in December 1997, I think it was Christmas Day '97.
Well, that don't happen anymore. You have digital.
Digital, right? It was at Sandy Springs Parkside, which is now the Bill Tush Cinema. The film broke, and Bill Tush was actually in that audience. I found out years later, that same screening when the film broke. Anyway, you imagine he goes, "Trust me." Jack says, "Trust me," and the ship's going down, and then boom, the lights come back on. The screen turns white. It's like, what happened? What happened? You know, that big build-up, 3-hour epic. And right at the crucial moment, the film snapped.
Bad.
Hey, let's watch do you mind if I play a clip of Gene Hackman talking about Mississippi burning? Let's watch this together, okay?
I don't know.
What's that?
How long is it?
4 minutes. I can cut it early. I won't.
4
play the
minutes.
whole
That's just
4
too
minutes.
long.
Well, let's just hear what he had to say about it.
Well, the question we all ask ourselves while watching Mississippi Burning is, where were we in 1964? I'll ask you the same thing, Gene.
Well, I'm embarrassed to say that I was in New York working on my own projects, trying to make a living as an actor and not really involved in civil rights. And I think I was probably like a lot of Americans, that was something that was happening in Mississippi, and I was uninvolved with that, and it was really an arm's length deal. Mm-hmm. And I think the interesting thing about this film is that it's so compelling that I think people who will see it it'll be a revelation to them.
Early in the film, you have a dialogue with William Dafoe that's very crucial, I think, because what comes out of it is that people can die for their beliefs, and there are also people who can kill for their beliefs. Mm-hmm. Your characters in many of your films strike me as going both ways like that. Would you talk to that about that double-edged quality? You can kill and you can die for a belief.
Well, it's really a very simple kind of belief that I think that there are all things in all of us, that we're all capable under certain circumstances of doing very vile acts and being also very loving. And that what interests me about acting is that somewhat common characters put in uncommon situations. And what do you do? How do you react to certain things, given that you're a common man?
Do you think that's part of the secret of your attraction? People see you as that common man.
I think they probably do, for whatever reasons. Either I look like the common guy or act like him, or I am pretty common, in many ways. I like to keep my personal life fairly common, so that in my art, one can let go and one can soar. That's not an original thought by me. It's something that I read, but I mean, it also is applicable.
Can you take us for a moment down into the swamp? Slogging away down on those locations must have made you feel pretty uncommon or common, however you want to look at it.
Yeah, some of the filmmaking is very uncomfortable. It's not terribly glamorous at all, and many times you do things that you'd prefer to be somewhere else, painting or
no trailers, no cosmetic people.
That's right. You get out and you really kind of have to rough it. And I'm not crying poor mouth. I mean, acting is a very
it's okay, Keebler. It's an interview.
Well-paid profession once you reach a certain status. But there are times when you kind of pay for it also.
Very quickly, you were alluding earlier to the fact that you do paint. How serious is this? What's that all about?
Well, I've always drawn. I've drawn since I was a kid, and when I was when I first went to New York in the early '50s, I went to the Art Students League, and was able to study with Frank Riley there. And then I didn't get back to painting for about 30 years. And just recently I've taken up painting again, so it's
Have you ever thought of keeping
satisfying.
a sketchbook on the set?
I do that all the time. I sketch constantly on set.
What happens to these sketchbooks?
Well, I keep them. I have a whole drawer full of them, and I like to do little things of the wardrobe girl or the sound man or something like that. It keeps me out of trouble.
Wonder if I have about 30 seconds left to ask you about a very special quality you have, and that is controlled rage. Nobody laughs and grins like you do when you're angry on screen. Was that a conscious?
Well, I think that some of that comes out of my own personal sense of who I am, and we unfortunately work out of our own personalities as actors. And I say unfortunately because there's a lot of dark in us, and I think if we can get to that and produce that there's somehow or another an audience identifies with some of that.
Indeed.
If it's personal.
Gene Hackman, sometimes finding the uncommon in the commonplace man.
Thank you.
Pleasure to meet you. We're talking about Mississippi burning, and we're both in Washington, D.C. I'm John Tibbetts for KCTV5.
He's a good actor. Was a good actor, I'm telling you.
No, he's still alive, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, he's still alive.
He's 94. He's 94. He retired 20 years ago today from acting.
Wow.
How about that? I just love watching interviews with him because he didn't grant many interviews throughout his career.
What did you do with Tom?
He took off when the clip came on. He ducked out. And you know what I think happened? His battery died. He said his phone was low on power. I bet that's what it was. I don't think he did that.
He didn't duck out because of that. Yeah, the battery probably died.
Yeah, the battery died.
Okay. I'm just so naive about all this stuff. I just like, don't go.
Before you ladies came on, he mentioned, oh gosh, my phone's low on power. Unless he was saying that as an excuse ahead of time. I'm kidding.
Oh. Well, anyway, I'll let you folks get back to your wonderful conversation. Thank you so much for including me. Now that I'm even smarter now about Gene Hackman. I forgot that I'd even seen those movies until you started talking about them.
Well, it was nice to see you tonight.
Yeah, I love you, and I hope you have a wonderful birthday on Sunday.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chance. I appreciate it. All right, you two. Bye-bye. Tell Tom I said goodbye.
Happy birthday.
Okay.
Bye, Sarah.
Bye.
Bye.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, she's really sweet. Yeah, she really is.
I agree. I can't believe all the problems I had on the YouTube side tonight. It totally threw me off. I mean, I had this all concise to like a 3-hour or less tribute to Gene Hackman plus 70s trivia. Now I'm not sure if I'll get to the 70s trivia or not because I want to.
No, what did YouTube take it down for? What did you?
Because of repeated what they call warnings. The issue though, the thing that's a discrepancy, and I filed an appeal.
Why did they take you off tonight? I mean, what happened tonight?
I'm trying to explain. I'm answering your question. I played an Invaders clip with Gene Hackman, but I'd earlier tested it on my other channel, Chance Acting Demo, with no issue. It detected it, but it said the copyright owner has allowed you to play this, but there might be different rules and stipulations for live streams versus actual videos. If you go to my other channel, all 3 clips are right there. I'd set them to private because I wanted to unveil them tonight during the live stream. Now that the live stream is off YouTube, while we were talking, I made them public again, all 3 Invaders clips. So I don't know. I did an appeal with YouTube. We'll see what happens. But as it stands now, unless I win the appeal, I can't upload anything for a week until next Friday on YouTube.
Well, that's not so bad. But
no, it's not so bad.
Most of the podcasts that I watch, when people show a clip from a movie or a television show, they don't use the audio. They just show the video and they talk over it. And there's never an issue that way.
You know, and that's something
all the podcasts that I see, all the guys, they just play the video, but they're talking over it. Or
is it a trailer? Is it when you say video, what are they playing?
Correct. It just depends, like I watch podcasts about movies and stuff, and they'll show a scene, say, I watched a podcast, they reviewed the movie Megalopolis with that big movie with Francis Coppola. But they talked about the movie and gave it a review, but they just played the scenes while they were talking about it. They didn't actually use the audio from the clip.
Tom just texted, it was the power in my phone. I plugged it in upstairs. That's cool. Yeah, okay. So, but I wouldn't play. Well, all right, let me explain something. In Keebler's comment that I put on the screen, the first Invaders clip was fine. It was the ones after that. Yes, because I got a notice when the second clip played, but that was okay on my other also monetized channel. So I'm confused. And then after that, it was the trailer that I played. And anyway, and after that, once the bots get on you, it's like bees to honey, or it's like bees to honey.
You shared it to the podcast page, but it said content unavailable.
Nah, well, but the Facebook is back up because I filed an appeal there as well. I can't win. Like some weeks it'll be Facebook Live that goes down. Sometimes it's YouTube. I've had better success with YouTube because this is a documentary. It's not. And then Basil.
It doesn't make any difference if you're playing copyrighted material and they don't like it. It doesn't matter if you call it educational. They're going to take it down.
If you don't own it, anything can happen. That's the bottom line. Basil, that's Tom Williams, said he needs a lesson of some kind. Very funny, mister. Hey, I can't argue with him. He's an Emmy Award winner for directing things on Turner at Turner Classic Movies, right? What did he win his Emmys for? What do you know, Al, for directing what? Him and his
I don't remember. I don't know.
Well, a lot of people were watching him on the Weather Channel with these recent storms, that's for sure. His primetime coverage of Hurricane Helene and then Milton after that. And there another storm heading our way?
Not to
Nadine? Or is it falling apart? I haven't heard much about Nadine. And I heard it may affect Atlanta, Georgia, but that was early on. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. Yeah, Mississippi Burning was a very serious movie. Al, let me just continue on with where'd it go? The documentary side. Let me see where I left off here. I'm almost done with the documentary of Mr. Gene Hackman.
I'm going to bail here at 11 o'clock because I want to watch the last hour of On Patrol.
Well, that's in 2 minutes. You want to go now?
Yeah, I'll bail out, and I'll catch you later on.
I appreciate you, Al. Thanks for checking in. I hope we can do a show at your fine studio about the best 5, or each individual favorite top 5 monsters of TV and film. You, Al.
Well, my favorite monster from TV is.
You're going to reveal it now?
I can give you. It's from the outer. It's from the Outer Limits.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Yeah, from the planet Xanthi.
Yeah, those are great characters. I just
that
love
was
them.
Stop motion animation. It was a giant insect alien with a humanoid face.
Yeah, they look like big ants or something.
Right, with a humanoid face, and Bruce Dern was in that episode.
Actually, it's a great episode. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah,
Xanthi Misfits.
Sarah saying thank you.
All right, Sarah. Nice to see you and everybody else. And take care. Okay.
All right, buddy. And let me know when I can bring Killerfish over, which is a knockoff on Piranha on 16 millimeter mint print. Great movie. You're going to love it, with the jewel thieves that stash a bunch of jewels in a lake, not knowing it's infested with piranha. It's a James Franciscus, Lee Majors. I didn't mention ever Margot Hemingway is in it. That's Mariel Hemingway's older sister, and Karen Black. And it's just a heck of a lot of fun.
Is there a lot of screaming when the fish eat them up?
Yeah. And there's a really overweight guy that gets eaten. I've talked about this 3 times now, and all this blood comes around him. He's going, it's hammy. It's like it's schlock. I mean, you're gonna love it, man. And it's a mint print too. Last time I ran it, the color was gorgeous on it.
That means it'll be faded.
No. I got it right here. I'll show you. Killerfish.
Well, you don't have to show it to me. I know what it looks like.
All right. Well, I'll show the audience when you duck out of here. It's 11, buddy. You better take off.
All right, man. Bye, everybody.
Hey, do you want to get together next Saturday? I'm going to put you on the spot. All right. And we'll talk about our favorite monsters from Hardy Vision. Bye. There he goes. I'm going to show Killerfish. We'll get back to the main topic. I'm probably going to do this show all over again with less clips once I figure out what the real issue was with YouTube and who took the most had the most objection to that material. documentary piece about Gene Hackman. But here it is. Oh, it's falling out the box. Killer Fish. Lee Majors is the main star of Killer Fish, but James Franciscus is in it, who played astronaut Brent in Beneath the Planet of the Apes. And look, it's ITC Entertainment, who distributed UFO or UFO in England and Space 1999 and a whole lot of great shows like The Muppet Show. But this is not a TV print. That's the weird thing. Of course, this just could be any reel, but all the reels, it's an R-rated print. And it was made in Italy, I believe, or was it Spain? I think it's Italy. But there's reel 2. It's on 3 reels. Still Halloween season's live, and there's reel 3. And it's definitely, because of the language and the violence, not a television print. So I guess ITC distributed movies that were theatrical versions to TV stations. Like WATL 36 had Movie Macabre, hosted by Cassandra Peterson, otherwise known as Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. And they would leave in stuff I couldn't believe that I was seeing as a kid on television. You know, a lot of blood, a lot of sometimes breasts on, which was an independent station, still is in Atlanta, Georgia, WATL 36. So that's Killer Fish, and I know Al's going to love it. He's always so skittish about the content I want to bring. And Keebler says, bye, Al, to Al. Let me put that on the screen. He's back. Hey, you're back. I better take him off. I don't think he knew, because he went down, and there he is back. He's still back. Al, can you hear me? Yeah, you can. Al, what's going on?
What do you want?
Nothing. Oh, you know why I still have you as a partner on my StreamYard. So even though you don't have a paid StreamYard account anymore, I think like it automatically popped you back on.
Let me gripe about StreamYard. I had a really good price on StreamYard. Sarah may know this. And they went from a reasonable rate to $44.95 a month. And that's just outrageous. I'm not paying $44.95 a month. I don't use it that much, you know? There are other alternatives. You have Zoom, and you have a program called OneStream. It's just as good, if not better, than StreamYard. And it works the same way. OneStream works the same way.
And Keebler's in the same boat. Listen, you said it went from 10 a month to 45 a month. That's ridiculous. It should go no more, in my opinion, than 15 a month as an increase. From 10 to 15 would be reasonable. From 10 to 45, that's ridiculous. But StreamYard is the best. I agree, my flock. Now, Keebler's saying, you didn't drop out. I did. I removed Al from the studio, and then bam, there he was. So explain that.
All right. Hey, Sarah, what do you pay for StreamYard?
Hey,
you can type it in.
All right.
Sarah, what do you pay for StreamYard?
Can I just answer while we're waiting for her to answer? I have a lifetime discount. I joined at the right time. They had a special at the end of 2023. It said this is a lifetime deal. The rate will never go up if you pay annually, which I did. In writing, it says we will never increase it on you. And I think they'd be subject to a lawsuit if they raise it on me. I'm going to see when it expires at the end of the year.
They'll screw you. They'll screw you. When your contract's up, they'll screw you.
Oh, look. Sarah says I pay $96 for the entire year. What a deal. Sarah, you have the lifetime too, don't you? You got the deal I got, right? Now I pay more than that. I do pay more than 96. So you got a phenomenal deal. Yeah, last year, right. So did you get it's the lifetime deal, correct? And which is expired. No one can get this anymore, but we can, and we did. So we should be grandfathered in.
Well, if you, like I told you, if you go to the StreamYard Facebook page, people are furious at the price increases. They're dropping them, you know?
Yeah. Keebler. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. And you said they're getting trashed in social media. StreamYard. Yeah. But Keebler, no, I did. I kicked him out when he said he's got to go. So I pressed the button, then all of a sudden, bam, there he was again. Now Sarah said, I think so. I'm certain now. Okay. And she misspelled. If she means certain, that's CERTEAIN. I'm not saying that to shame or educate. I'm just trying to understand.
I was paying $10 a month.
I think so. I'm certain now. Okay. Well, I'm certain that it told me I have a lifetime deal, no increase ever. It even said explicitly, if you take advantage of this special, it will never go up. No, it's okay, Sarah. I'm not knocking you about the spelling. It was, you know, I'm just trying to understand what you're trying to say. She didn't get a business plan like you did, Shan.
I wrote StreamYard a letter, told them that kind of a price increase was outrageous. And I don't think they offer a free plan anymore. So I don't know.
Well, we need to get back to Gene Hackman now.
Well, I need to go, really.
Okay.
What?
You want to watch the Unforgiven trailer and then go? Because that's one of your favorites.
I've seen it before. I really need to get going.
All right, buddy. Well, I'm going to hit the remove button.
Bye again, everybody, and I'll leave the studio.
Okay, see. Well, you can do whatever you want. Hey, and I'll see you hopefully next Saturday.
All right, bye.
There's Al Hardy. All right, now we're going to get back talking about the great Gene Hackman. And thank goodness not late, Gene Hackman. And I'm just going to continue and roll along here. Let me see how long I have gone. It's over 3 hours now. See, it wouldn't have been, and I'm not saying it was a distraction. I'm glad other people joined. Don't misunderstand. But I would have been on point with my 3 hour mark, and we still would have gotten trivia in. Sorry about that, Mr. Gutfeld in New York. I see. And the other thing I said I was going to do was a Bewitched 60th anniversary show. The reason I didn't do that, I didn't lie to you. It's because I found one, which I've promoted on my community tab on YouTube. Someone else did a fantastic Bewitched YouTube video celebrating the 60th anniversary of the debut of Bewitched on the ABC television network in September 1964. And I don't think I could come close to doing it justice. So I decided I don't think I'll do one. I think I can't top the footage this guy showed. I can't top how professional it looked. Even with StreamYard that I have at my disposal, I don't think I could have done as good a job. So I'm going to let his stand for this, in my opinion, the official Bewitched 60th anniversary YouTube go-to show. And I'll just talk about Bewitched because I love that show from time to time on the Podblast, as I've always done. So where we left off, to summarize, our After French Connection, Hackman starred in 10 films. We talked about all of them, including his cameo in Young Frankenstein. I can't believe Al and Tom didn't mention that one because they love that movie, as do I. But that's okay. They were talking about fezzes and other things. I'm not knocking anybody. I'm just saying, I'm kidding. Okay. Yeah, I talked about, excuse me, Superman the movie in the 1970s, and I showed a clip from the extended version of Superman the movie where he played Lex Luthor. Now, Mississippi Burning, I already showed the trailer in the interview, and I hated to have to talk over that because that's a powerful movie and such an important lesson on the evils of racism of 1964. And it's too bad we had to, to try to combat this issue with the bots taking the stream down. But let me just, when we talked about Two of a Kind, how he voiced God in that movie, it's kind of a bad movie, but it was fun seeing Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta reunited again after Grease. Talked about Hoosiers, and I played a clip in that interview, and Gene Hackman's interview on Nightlife, a syndicated talk show from the late 1980s. Of course, in Hoosiers, Gene Hackman played a high school basketball coach. And I did mention this, but to reiterate, in 2008, the American Film Institute's poll, a poll by the American Film Institute named Hoosiers as the 4th greatest sports film of all time. Then, unbelievably, in a good way, he reprised his role as Lex Luthor in Superman 4: The Quest for Peace, which was shot in 1986, released in 1987. After he achieved Academy Award status and nomination status before his win. That's pretty cool, and that was filmed 9 years after he filmed his scenes for Superman the movie and Superman 2 in 1977 under director Richard Donner. But he also voiced in Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, Nuclear Man, a villain in Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, where a kid is trying to get nuclear weapons banned all over the world. That was the primary plot point of Superman 4, hence the subtitle, The Quest for Peace. But the actor who played Nuclear Man is an actor named Mark Pillow. Then came for Hackman the release of No Way Out. Showed you the trailer for that with Sean Young, and it's what really put Kevin Costner on the map. Released in 1987, No Way Out. Then he did Split Decisions in 88. He did Bat 21 in 88, Full Moon in Blue Water in 1988, and a movie called Another Woman in 1988 from Woody Allen. And Hackman then starred in Mississippi Burning, also in 1988, for which he was nominated for a second Best Actor Oscar. After Mississippi Burning, Gene Hackman acted in The Package, released in 1989. Let's talk about the 1990s era. Hackman starred in Loose Cannons in 1990 with Dan Aykroyd. Starred in. Tom Williams, if you're still out there. And he had a supporting role in Postcards from the Edge, also in 1990. And he appeared with Ann Archer in Narrow Margin in 1990, which is a remake of the 1952 film The Narrow Margin. Ann Archer, by the way, is the daughter of Marjorie Lord, who played Danny Thomas's second wife in the Danny Thomas Show, retitled Make Room for Daddy, for reruns in syndicated television land. Beautiful lady, Ann Archer, great actor. Of course, she played Harrison Ford's wife in the Patriot Games movie. And she's a very competent actress. Okay. After, let's see, Class Action in 1991 and Company Business in 1991, Gene Hackman played the sadistic sheriff Little Bill Daggett in the Western Unforgiven, directed by the great Clint Eastwood and written by David Webb Peoples. I'm going to play that trailer now, and I'll maybe make some noises over it or some poop to make it play. It's only 2 minutes, 25 seconds long. Let's watch this 1992 official theatrical trailer for Unforgiven. Great movie.
Hey, boss.
I love this film.
Got the fever.
Penny, why don't you help your brother out?
There's Clint Eastwood.
My guess is you're calling yourself Mr. William Money.
You have me confused with someone else, mister.
You're the one who killed William Harvey and robbed that train over Missouri.
We'll talk inside.
You don't look no cold-blooded damn killer.
Maybe I ain't.
I'm heading up north, gonna kill a couple of no-good cowboys.
For what?
For cutting up a lady, cut up the face, cut her eyes out, cut her ears out. How about it, Will?
Good Lord.
2 of them cowboys, isn't there? Out of the 3 of us. Ned Logan. He's my partner.
We ain't bad men no more. We're farmers. How long has it been since you fired?
A Warner Brothers movie.
9, 10 years.
Released on August 3rd, 1990. August 7th, 1992, rather, in the United States of America. It made $160 million with a budget of $14.4 million.
Those are 2 boys that cut up Delilah.
Tell them there ain't no horse gold. Even if there was, they wouldn't want to come looking for it.
Ooh!
With any luck, we'll find them by
Whoa!
nightfall or in the morning. We can shoot them, head on back with the money.
There's Gene Hackman.
Go, Davey!
Well, ain't you gonna
Look out!
Shoot him down like a mangy scoundrel.
Whoa, I better talk over this song.
Are you really gonna kill them cowboys?
I ain't like you.
I'm going to stop it right there. A great Warner Brothers picture, a great Clint Eastwood directed movie. And he had that great contract with Warner Brothers for years. I mean, going back to like Every Which Way You Can, Any Which Way You Can, Every Which Way But Loose, the sequel to every. I get that so confused. Hang on a second. I'm so verklempt because of what's gone down tonight with the streams. Sarah says, I love Chance yelling over this so based. Well, could you? I can't tell what you could hear. I should have put my headphones on. I don't know. Yep, making it more exciting. Oh boy. I probably sounded like a real Lulu freak azoid doing that. But, you know, I'm trying to talk over it, as Keebler and Sarah suggested, to avoid problems with these streams. So, wish I could play the whole thing, but, you know, you've seen enough of it. Hell, even Bronco Billy was a Clint Eastwood Warner Brothers picture, which he also directed as well. And I love that movie. A lot of people trash Bronco Billy. I thought that was a good movie, but we're talking about Gene Hackman, who was not in Bronco Billy. I love other Westerns he did. Like, we'll talk about another Western from 1995 that Gene Hackman acted in that I like a lot. So, Unforgiven, just a classic, one of Clint Eastwood's best pictures, in my opinion. Gene Hackman had pledged to avoid violent roles, but Eastwood convinced him to take the part that he played in Unforgiven, which earned him a second Oscar, this time for Best Supporting Actor. The Unforgiven also won Best Picture that year. In 1993, Gene Hackman appeared in Geronimo, an American legend, as Brigadier General George Crook, and co-starred with Tom Cruise as a corrupt lawyer in The Firm. You can't handle the truth! Of course, that was another actor who uttered that line. I'm sorry if I blew out your eardrums there, or your speakers. A legal thriller, The Firm was, based on the John Grisham novel of the same name. Gene Hackman would also appear in 2 other films based on John Grisham novels, playing convict Sam Cahill on death row in The Chamber in 1996, and jury consultant Rankin Fitch in Runaway Jury in 2003. Those were John Grisham novels. How about that, Jack Nicholson? You can't handle the truth! To Tom Cruise's character. All right, other notable films. Other notable films that Gene Hackman appeared in during the 1990s include Wyatt Earp in 1994. Love it. In that, he played Nicholas Porter Earp, Wyatt Earp's father. He also was in The Quick and the Dead opposite Sharon Stone, Leonardo DiCaprio, a couple years before Titanic was released, and Russell Crowe. And I'm going to play that trailer now because I pulled that for you all. Let's watch a little bit of that trailer. Fine film. Here is The Quick and the Dead, 2 minutes long. All right.
This is my town. You live to see the dawn is because I allow it. I decide who lives or who dies.
In a town called Redemption, death is a way of life. Some fight for money. Some fight for glory. But one stranger has come here.
Whoa! Sharon Stone.
For something else.
I now declare the quick draw competition open.
He's missing a finger in real life.
Anybody?
The man speaking.
Sign me up. Sure must want to die young.
He played an alien in The Invader. The Prophet.
She can play the game.
Want to play poker with me, little lady?
Looks like you're having a pretty good time playing with yourself.
She can beat their odds.
Did you ever kill anyone?
Sure.
I don't think you have.
He's so understated. I love Gene
she can't do.
Why are you really here? You're no gunfighter.
Forget the past.
String him up. Put him on a chair.
Great movie.
Some people
Revenge.
deserve to die.
TriStar
Revenge flick.
Pictures presents Sharon Stone.
I'm gonna kill you if I have to ride all the way to hell to do it.
Gene Hackman.
There's nothing on this earth that frightens me now. Nothing.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Hey, my face.
In a film by Sam Raimi. The Quick and the Dead.
Leonardo there looks like the women he likes to be with now.
You're either
In
one
age.
or the other.
Allegedly. The Quick and the Dead. Great movie. I saw it in the theater like 2 times. I love that movie, The Quick and the Dead. Okay, so is this thing still on? I don't know with these clips no more. All right, so that was 1995. Also that year was another movie I just thought was great because you had Gene Hackman with another one of my favorite actors, Denzel Washington in Crimson Tide. Got a 2-minute trailer for that. I want to space it out. I don't want to push my luck. My luck's already run out on YouTube for this show. Hopefully, I can upload it in a week with some changes and some edits, and I get that strike removed. But the strike will fall off in January anyway. January will be here before you know it. So I may just thinking about what I'm going to do about YouTube. I may not do any live shows on YouTube, just on Facebook Live, and then upload them after the fact like I did before. Yeah, that's probably what I'll do. And if this doesn't go my way. All right, let's look at the trailer talking about the great Gene Hackman. Let's look at the trailer for Crimson Tide, released in 1995. Oh, let me look at the numbers of Quick and the Dead first, though, before I roll that. I like to give you all, and I didn't have time to prep this ahead of time. Let's look at the box office totals for The Quick and the Dead, and then I'll also give you that information for Crimson Tide. So, The Quick and the Dead, a good ensemble movie, was released, and it's from Sony. Wait a minute. Yeah. Well, a division of Sony Pictures. Sony, I love Sony. Sony Pictures out of Japan. I love them. All right. It made millions, but it wasn't a huge hit. The budget was $35 million. It made $47 million at the box office. Some of that was my box office money. I already said that. It was released on February 10th, 1995 in the USA. TriStar Pictures. Yeah. Now, Crimson Tide, I bet that did a heck of a lot more business. Crimson Tide was released in the USA on May 12th, 1995. A few months later, it cost $53 million to make, but it earned $157.4 million. So it made over $100 million at the box office. Let's look at the trailer to this hit blockbuster film, Crimson Tide, right now.
Russian ultra-nationalist leader, backed by his rebel army, threatened nuclear attack on the United States and Japan.
Maybe it's not as bad as it looks. It is.
Yeah, buddy. I love a submarine movie. So does Al Hardy, who was on earlier. Like Das Boot.
Those sailors out there are just boys.
Boy.
Boys who are training to do a terrible and unthinkable thing. And if that ever occurs, the only reassurance they'll have that they're doing the proper thing is going to derive from their unqualified belief in the unified chain of command. That means we don't question each other's motives in front of the crew. It means we don't undermine each other. It means they hear your voice right after mine without hesitation.
Look how young Denzel looked there. Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea was another film I like, directed by Irwin Allen, that took place on a super sub, a nuclear sub.
Give him a missile key.
Way back in 1961, Voyage was released in movie theaters, long before the TV show, to the tune of about 3 years. Before the television show debuted September 1964 on ABC. Yeah, it is a good movie, Keebler. I love it. She said Crimson Tide was the best.
I'm the commander of this fucking
The best
ship.
sub.
Give me that goddamn key. Woo! The station or Peter don't make a dumb decision. 1, 2.
Epic movie. Epic. See, I planned such a good tribute to the great Gene Hackman. It's too bad people on YouTube can't see it on their televisions, but I'm grateful for those that can hear it and see it on any of my other socials, live video feed. All right. So, Chance, love you talking over the clip. Thank you, Sarah in Southern California. Hope I'm not ruining it. I'm sure, you may think that, but I'm sure most people are like, shut the F up, but I have to talk to avoid any more problems with my streams. All right. So Crimson Tide. Now we're nearing the end of the documentary. I said that like an hour ago, didn't I? But then we had some cool people come on, Al, Tom, and Sarah and her mama. So I love that movie. Let's see here. Other notable films that Gene Hackman appeared in during the 1990s include Wyatt Earp in 1994, and talked about that already. I know. Hackman played film director Harry Zim with John Travolta in the comedy drama, no one's mentioned this yet, Get Shorty in 1995. That was Travolta's second movie after his big comeback in 1994 in Pulp Fiction, of course, directed by Quentin Tarantino. In the background is a Hulk cover I bought in a collection in April 2024 that shows She-Hulk in a tribute to Uma Thurman's character. And from the movie poster, one of the main movie posters for Pulp Fiction. Anyway, I digress. But I remember Get Shorty. That was like the second big movie from John Travolta in the second wave of his big screen career. He had a contract with Paramount Pictures to do in the 80s and late 70s, early 80s to do Saturday Night Fever, Grease, Urban Cowboy. But, and then he did like Wild Hogs. He did all sorts of movies in the 90s and beyond. Well, that was in the early 2000s, I believe. But, and Face Off, that was a good one. But I'm not, now we're talking about Gene Hackman, not Travolta. But yeah, so he played director, Gene Hackman did, Harry Zim, with John Travolta in the comedy drama Get Shorty, released in 1995. In 1996, Gene Hackman took a comedic turn as conservative Senator Kevin Keeley in The Birdcage with Robin Williams and Nathan Lane. Al Hardy talked about that earlier. He co-starred with Hugh Grant in Extreme Measures in 1996 and reunited with Clint Eastwood in Absolute Power in 1997. Should have pulled that trailer. I didn't. To be honest with you, I didn't. Hackman did Twilight in 1998 with Paul Newman for director Robert Benton. And he did one of the voices in the movie Ants, released in 1998. And he co-starred with Will Smith, Get My Wife Out Your Mouth, in Enemy of the State in 1998. His character was reminiscent of the one he had played in The Conversation, where he's tapping people and listening to them. And he doesn't know what's real anymore. I haven't mentioned that yet about The Conversation. It's a study in paranoia. Now, in the 2000s, Gene Hackman co-starred with Morgan Freeman in Under Suspicion in the year 2000 and with Keanu Reeves in The Replacements in the year 2000 and Owen Wilson in Behind Enemy Lines in 2001. He also acted with Sigourney Weaver in Heartbreakers in 2001. By the way, I think Sigourney Weaver is the only person to be attractive ever that had the name Sigourney. I'm just saying, it's kind of an awkward name, Sigourney. I don't know. But anyway, Sigourney Weaver was a movie with Hackman. Sigourney Weaver acted with Hackman in the movie Heartbreakers in 2001. And Hackman also appeared with David Mamet in the David Mamet crime thriller Heist in 2001. As an aging professional thief of considerable skill who is forced into one final job. And he made a cameo in The Mexican in 2001. Now, Gene Hackman gained much critical acclaim playing against type as the head of an eccentric family in Wes Anderson's comedy film The Royal Tenenbaums in 2001. That also came up earlier in tonight's program, for which he received the Golden Globe Award for Best Actor in a Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy. In 2003, Gene Hackman also starred in another John Grisham legal drama titled Runaway Jury. At long last, getting to make a picture with his longtime friend Dustin Hoffman. Right. In 2004, and he would have had he been cast in Mrs. Robinson. We talked about it earlier. See you, Mrs. Robinson. The Graduate with Catherine Ross. In 2004, Gene Hackman appeared alongside Ray Romano in the comedy movie Welcome to Mooseport, his final acting role to date. Gene Hackman was honored with the Cecil D. DeMille Award from the Golden Globe Awards for his outstanding contribution to the entertainment field in 2003. Now, in terms of his retirement, in 2004, specifically on July 7th, 2004, Gene Hackman gave a rare interview to Larry King on CNN and Larry King Live, where he announced he had no future film projects lined up and believed that his acting career was over. In 2008, while promoting his third novel, Gene Hackman confirmed that he had retired from acting. Speaking on his retirement in 2009, Gene Hackman said, and I quote, "The straw that broke the camel's back was actually a stress test that I took in New York. The doctor advised me that my heart wasn't in the kind of shape that I should be putting it and I shouldn't be putting it under any stress, unquote. Let me redo that. That's terrible. And I'm not trying to do an impression. I'm just trying to be dramatic. The straw that broke the camel's back was actually a stress test that I took in New York. The doctor advised me that my heart wasn't in the kind of shape that I should be putting it under any stress. That's a quote. It's kind of awkwardly worded. I don't know if that was keyed in wrong there. Okay, so that wasn't that was a pretty valid screw up on my part, because that's awkwardly, I guess is a direct quote. When asked during a GQ Gentleman's Quarterly magazine interview in 2011 if he would ever come out of retirement to do just one more film, Gene Hackman said he might consider it, quote, if I could do it from my own house, maybe, without them disturbing anything and with just one or two people, unquote. Gene Hackman briefly came out of retirement to narrate 2 documentaries related to the Marine Corps. One titled The Unknown Flag Raiser of Iwo Jima in 2016 and We the Marines in 2017. I did not know that. In terms of writing, together with an undersea archaeologist named Daniel Lenihan, Gene Hackman has written 3 historical fiction novels. One was titled Wake of the Perdido Star, published in 1999, A Sea Adventure of the 19th Century, Justice for None in 2004, and a Depression-era tale of murder and escape from Andersonville in 2008 about a prison escape during the American Civil War. His first solo effort, a story of love and revenge set in the Old West titled Payback at Morning Peak, was released in 2011. It's called published, not released. His most recent novel, Pursuit, a police thriller, followed in 2013. In terms of his personal life, Gene Hackman has been married twice, and he has 3 children from his first marriage. In 1956, Gene Hackman married Faye Maltese, and she lived from 1929 to 2017, with whom he had 1 son and 2 daughters, Christopher Allen, Elizabeth Jean, and Leslie Ann Hackman. Gene Hackman was often out on location making films while the children were growing up. The couple divorced in 1986 after 3 decades of marriage. In 1991, Gene Hackman married the classical pianist Betsy Arakawa. She was born in 1961. They share a Santa Fe, New Mexico home. Al, there you go. Santa Fe, New Mexico home, which Architectural Digest featured in 1990 in their magazine. At the time, the home blended southwestern styles and created a 12-acre hilltop with a 360-degree view that stretched to the Colorado mountains. As of 2022, Gene Hackman continues to attend Santa Fe cultural events. Gene Hackman is a supporter of the Democratic Party, and he was proud to be included on Nixon's enemies list. However, he has fondly spoken about Republican President Ronald Reagan. In the late 1970s, Gene Hackman competed in the Sports Car Club of America races, driving an open-wheeled Formula Ford. In 1983, he drove a Dan Gurney Team Toyota in the 24-hour of Daytona endurance race. He also won the Long Beach Grand Prix celebrity race. Gene Hackman is a fan of the Jacksonville Jaguars and regularly attended Jaguars games as a guest of honor of former head coach Jack Del Rio. Their friendship goes back to Del Rio's playing days at the University of Southern California. Architecture and design are another of Gene Hackman's interests. As of 1990, he had created 10 homes, 2 of which were featured in Architectural Digest magazine. After a period of time, Gene Hackman moves on to another house restoration. Quote, "I don't know what's wrong with me," he remarked. "I guess I like the process, and when it's over, it's over." And unquote. As of 2018, Gene Hackman remains an active cyclist. That's probably why he's in reportedly good health. In 1990, Gene Hackman underwent angioplasty in 2012. When he was 82, Gene Hackman was struck by a pickup truck while he was bicycling in the Florida Keys. It was initially reported that he had suffered serious head trauma. However, his publicist stated that his injury was nothing more than bumps and bruises, quote unquote. Wow. So in terms of his filmography, he had an uncredited role as a policeman in Mad Dog Call. Talked about that earlier. And then he played Norman in 1964 in Lilith. He played John Whipple in Hawaii in 1966. Al, you weren't right. You were not right about Bonnie and Clyde. I didn't want to say that at the time. I knew it, but I didn't want to say it. Let me just read what this read a little more of this filmography. He played Tommy Del Gatto in Banning, and let's see, Community Shelter Planning, also in 1966. He played Donald Ross, the regional civil defense officer. That was a short film. In 1967, on the big screen, in a movie, A Covenant with Death, he played Alfred Harmsworth. And then in First to Fight, he played Sergeant Tweed, also released in 1966. And then he was Buck Barrow in Bonnie and Clyde in 1967. Now, First to Fight, let me correct myself. First to Fight was shot in 66, released in 67. So according to this list, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 films preceded the release of Bonnie and Clyde, one of them being a short film. No big deal. I'm just setting the record straight. Okay, so I don't need to go through everything. You can look it up yourself. I mean, I like to be complete, but I've gone so long, and you've heard about a lot of these performances tonight already. So that really sums up and wraps up my Podblast-amentory of the great Gene Hackman. Podblast-amentory. I'm going to use that from now on. I just thought of that. Not that it's so great, but I like it. Yeah, I like that. Podblast-amentory. Doesn't exactly roll off the tongue, but I'm going to try to keep saying that. All right, so, woo, a lot of awards. We talked about them. I think he deserves a Lifetime Achievement Oscar, don't you? Maybe he'd appear in person, even remotely from his home, and accept that award or have a few words to say. How about that? So that's it. And so that covers the character. He was certainly a character actor in the beginning, then a leading man, and then a co-star. He's done it all. An author. He doodles. He likes to do sketches and painting. You heard it from the man himself. Now let's do another segment. Soul Survivor. Podblast-amentory. Correct. That's what I'm going to say from now on when I do these things. I know I'm long-winded, but I want to be a completist. I want to give these people justice. I want to cover everything. Let me make sure I have all the interview clips played. I think there's a little more about Gene Hackman, and then we'll officially wrap. I played all the movie trailers, so that's good. Wow, I'm just a little skittish on whether I should play these interviews. I played the Mississippi Burning interview, but I had a good one, a real goodie that I did want to play. I'm listening to the inner voice in my head. It's like I have an angel on one shoulder and a devil on the other. I don't know what to do. I'm going to play just a little bit of this interview because it's really, really cool. It's from way back, I think 1979 to be exact. Let's watch a little bit of this interview. Lita Powell, Drake, interviews Gene Hackman. I'm not going to play the whole thing because it's an 8-minute, 39-second clip. I'm just going to play a little bit because of all the problems I've had with the bots. And I assume this is okay, but now I'm a little insecure about this.
Ah, sweet mystery of life, at last I found you. Ah, do you remember him, that little tiny role he had in Young Frankenstein? You were so funny, you blind person. You almost looked like you could see what you were doing. Look at him. Gene Hackman, he's in another movie. It's called Misunderstood. But of course you remember him, the Academy Award winner for The French Connection, and all your nominees for Bonnie and Clyde, I Never Sang for My Father. But you know, Mr. Hackman, the thing that I liked the best, I haven't seen every single thing that you've done, but your best performance as far as I'm concerned?
Do I have to guess?
Yeah.
Oh. Conversation.
The Conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Was that? Did you feel like that was your best?
I don't know if it was my best performance. It was kind of a crafted performance by the director, I think. So I don't know how much credit I can take for that. I like to think in terms of Bonnie and Clyde maybe being a better performance because it was, I felt that I brought more to it personally.
I mean, the other was done maybe in the editing room, out of your control?
No, not in the editing room. It was done, it was more a performance that had more of the director's stamp to it.
Well, I thought that was brilliant, and I wanted more attention. I wanted you to win the Academy Award for that. I wanted that to be a big box office success, because I said, that's Gene's movie. He was magnificent in that. Why didn't it do better at the box office?
I think probably because it was a film that was, at that time, was maybe a little too interior. Plus, I don't think that the studio believed in the film, so they consequently didn't do a great deal of advertising for it. And that's really kind of the name of the game. You have to get the people in to see it before you can get a kind of a word-of-mouth campaign going. It is a good film.
Yeah, it is a very good film. You should be very proud of that.
Thank you.
New film, Misunderstood, but it was shot a while ago. What has taken so long to get this released?
Well, I think there was some problems with music. They changed all the music in the film, and then they had to interest somebody because it was independently shot film. They had to interest somebody, a distributor in the film. And it's strange in this town how if you go off and do a film without a distribution deal, many of the distributors feel that it had nothing to do with the film. They don't want to be involved in it. They would much rather be involved at the original concept of the film so that they can then feel that they have a real interest in it. It's only a year, though, actually, since the film was finished.
Well, this film, you've done Under Fire since?
No, I did Under Fire, actually, just before.
Oh, just before?
Yeah.
What about Eureka?
What about Eureka?
What about Eureka?
Yeah, where is it?
Where is it?
Yeah, I don't know. Eureka's a film that was quite a beautiful film, pictorially, and that for some reason, there again, the studio, I think, is somewhat unsure about whether or not they want to get behind it to make it work or not.
Isn't that frustrating for you as the actor to put all that energy and so forth, and then it just kind of sits out there somewhere in limbo?
Yeah, it is on some films. That's the only film that I have that has never been released, and you take it personally. You know, you wonder if you could have given a better performance if it would have been more successful. But it'll find its way, I think. I think eventually it will be released.
I didn't know you were a pilot.
Yes.
Could you fly to your various... How many hours have you got accumulated, Gene?
A couple thousand, I suppose.
Oh, that many? What do you fly?
I've flown about everything. I've been flying for 20-some-odd years.
Do you fly a helicopter?
Oh, no.
Have you flown a seaplane?
Yeah, I've done all that, but I don't have ratings and all those things. You know,
how about the new little ultralight?
Ultralights.
Have you tried an ultralight?
No, I haven't.
I'm a pilot too, so when you get two pilots together, then you can compare landing gear and all that kind of good stuff. But I just wondered, in the business, how often you can really use it to get the places you want to go?
Well, the only time I've ever really used an airplane was I was doing a film in Mexico, Lucky Lady, and at that time I had a Pitts, two-place Pitts aerobatic aircraft, and I flew that down to Guaymas, Mexico, and there was a small dirt strip there, and I had no hangar, and I had a couple of Mexican guys build a little hangar out of palm fronds for me, just to keep the dirt and the stuff off the airplane. It cost $100 to have that done, and I got to fly that airplane every night after work, and it was one of the great thrills of my lifetime.
At night they had lights down in Mexico?
No, just early evening. You know, like
dusk.
6 o'clock.
Because you don't want to land there at night, one of those little dirt strips.
Especially with no lights.
Yeah, no lights. Very, very bad. Do you know that he was with our Sandy Dennis and Any Wednesday on Broadway? I say our because Sandy Dennis is from Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yeah, I know that.
She's a very strange, interesting person.
She's a terrific actress. I worked with her for over a year on Broadway, Any Wednesday. The play went on to run, I think, 2 years. I left to do another play. And I think she's done a number of good performances since then. She's terrific.
Gene, do you have children?
Yes, I have 3 children.
Hi, Daddy! doesn't do any good to shout at you because you have no sense of responsibility. From now on, you can do anything you want to do. You're free, but not with Miles.
I didn't even want to take him.
Well, then why did you?
He forced me to.
He forced you to, that little tiny guy. He's hanging on because he loves you.
Well, you don't understand.
I understand you treat him like a plaything.
No!
No, what do you mean, no? You just treat him like he's a toy. What do you want?
Happy birthday, Daddy.
It's my birthday.
Aw.
Happy.
Before E.T. and the Black Stallion. Henry Thomas. Henry Thomas, everybody.
You like it?
Yeah, I like it.
I wanted to get you a motorcycle. Don't be angry at Andrew, Daddy. He pedaled as fast as he could, and I was heavy.
Motorcycle, huh? Night.
Good night.
Was there ever a point in your relationship with the child where you stopped hugging your male child and put out your hand to shake the hand as you did in the
No,
movie?
we still hug to this day, and I thank God that we're able to do that. I don't think we'll ever have a point where we feel the point where we have to shake hands. That was a real stretch for me in the film, and then probably one of the coldest things that one can do is not be aware, be insensitive to that need of a child to be wrapped in a father's arms.
So often it happens in families that somehow now the young man, the little boy is a young man, and we can no longer take the male child to our breast. We have to shake their hands very formally.
Our breast?
That's what's dealt with in this film, Misunderstood.
Yeah, I think we get to some interesting things in this film in terms of that kind of response or lack of response between
Henry
the father
Thomas
and a small child.
You've done some brilliant pictures, you've done some stinkers.
Really?
Yeah. I just...
Name two.
Oh, you don't really want me to say them, do
No,
you?
I can name more than two, actually.
It's got to be hard to select. How can you know how to select the right one?
I don't think anybody can really know. You just have to kind of guess and feel, have a sense of what's good for you. Doesn't always work.
Well, listen, keep it up. You're a fine actor, and I'm very pleased to have met you, Mr. Hackman.
Okay.
I like you. I really do.
Thank you.
His name is Gene Hackman, and he's starring in Misunderstood. I hope you'll see it. Stay tuned. 10/11 Morning continues.
That's a great interview. I played the whole thing. I think it was worth it. Hopefully you enjoyed it too. And yes, that was Henry Thomas, as I said, pre-ET, if you could hear me over that clip. All right. So I think we've covered a lot about Gene Hackman's life and career tonight. I will do one or two trivia questions. I'm sure the trivia folks have gone to bed or they're not here anymore. It's been a long show. We've gone 3 hours, 45 minutes as we're live. But I guess I will play a little bit of trivia and then we'll say goodnight. I love this chant, says Sarah in Southern California. Let me look at my my pictures to make sure I have shown all the movie posters and things. I think I did. Yes. And there's Mr. Hackman in some of the more recent pictures. I know I've shown that before, but in case anyone tuned in late, there that is. Yes. And we covered the collection. Yes. All right. I didn't play with you this game. I'm skittish to play the intro music, but I'm going to try this. We didn't do Soul Survivor. And I like to play the Asia song Soul Survivor, a live version. I'll just play a few bars of it. Soul Survivor. Where is it? Where is it? Solitary fighter. Where is that? As I talk to myself. Not a very disturbing habit. All right, here it is.
Survivor. Here we go.
Soul Survivor. Soul Survivor. Solitary fighter. What is Soul Survivor? I'll tell you in just a second. It's a segment on the Podblast called Soul Survivor. In which I name a television show, and you try to tell me in the chat who is the sole surviving cast member. And I show an image, but I'll mention it to those that are listening. So let's do this. I'm going to review, though. I started this with this cast of Gilligan's Island, and here's the answer revealed because we've already talked about it. The sole surviving cast member of the original 7 main cast members of Gilligan's Island is Tina Louise. Knock on wood. We also talked about the Addams Family, sole survivor being John Astin, the original Gomez Addams, and he's still kicking in his 90s, as is Tina Louise. Talked about different strokes. Ironically, Todd Bridges. What you talking about, Willis? Willis Drummond. The actor that played Willis Drummond, Arnold's older brother, is still alive. We talked about the last time we played this. It's not really a game. I guess it's a game, but I don't like to make a game of life and death. And these are all great actors and characters that we grew up with and that we love to this day. But we talked about Laverne and Shirley. Michael McKean is the sole surviving main cast member. Now we're going to talk about one that's a little controversial. Three's Company. Who do you think is the sole surviving cast member of Three's Company? Might be a trick question. I'm going to wait for the comments to catch up. Let's see. Who is the sole surviving cast member? Let's review. You had John Ritter, Suzanne Summers. Okay. Janet, says Keebler Howell. Janet. That's Joyce DeWitt. And she is alive. Let's put the picture up. Very good. Very good. Very good. Keebler, Keebs, as I call you affectionately. But that's not true. That's why I say it's controversial. Because not pictured there is another main cast member who was in the opening credits in more than half of the 8 seasons. Starting with season 4, this actor, Richard Klein, who played Larry Dallas, the used car salesman, best buddy of Jack Tripper, is still alive. He was in the opening credits. He was a main cast member. Now, this is a publicity still from season 2 of Three's Company, but guess what? He was in that cast back then, too. He was from the get-go. Larry Dallas. Richard Klein is still alive, so don't believe the internet. Don't believe the Three's Company, who's the sole surviving member question, because it's simply not true. When you say that the character of the actress who played Janet, Joyce DeWitt, is the sole surviving main cast member of Three's Company. No, go back, look at season 4, season 5, season 6, season 7, season 8 of Three's Company, and Richard Klein is in the opening credits. I mean, that's a main cast member, man. I'm right. Am I right? Am I right or what? Yeah, I'm right. I'm right. I copied that from BJ and the Bear episode Siege, which you can't see in US YouTube. All right, so I'll just do that one this week because I want to wait till my return to YouTube to play the game with another. I had 2 actually sole surviving qualifying TV shows that have 1 survivor left. He wasn't in every episode. That's a fair point, but he is a main cast member. I don't care what you say, buddy, Keebs. No. Larry Dallas was a main character on Three's Company. He was Jack's best friend. And Richard Klein, who played him, was in the opening credits. He was in every episode in the opening credits. I beg to differ, ma'am. No offense. He was in the opening credits of every episode, more than half. That qualifies. I'm sorry. Starting with season 4 opening credits, he's right there. He's in the bumper car. He's at the zoo, the San Diego Zoo, in season 6 to 8. He's there. So he counts, man. I don't care what the internet says. And frankly, I don't care what you say either about that. Sorry, I just don't. He was, no offense. I mean, I'm just saying, I stand behind what I'm saying on that point. What the hell? Oh, yeah, that was that. Okay, hang on. Now, let's see what other feature did I have. Oh, let's see. Oh, she retorted. No, we can agree to disagree. Lots of shows show people in the opening credits who aren't the main cast members. Doesn't matter. He was a main cast member and he was in the opening credits of more than 50% of that show. Well, more. Season 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5 seasons. And season 1, by the way, was just a winter replacement. There was only 6 episodes of season 1. Get out of here. He was a main cast member, Richard Klein. I beg to differ. And we try to be an accurate program here on the Nostalgic Podblast. Not going to have the peanut gallery say I'm wrong. Well, you're more than peanut gallery. You're an angel. I'm sorry. You and Chrissy and Sarah are my 3 angels. So I take that back. You're not the peanut gallery. And I love the peanut gallery. I love peanuts. I love crackers too. But that's besides the point. All right. So let me see what else I'd prepared. And then I need to get out of here. I don't want to have a show that's going to be a bear to compress for my audio platforms where it's just like ridiculous to try to air it without it sounding like poop. Got to talk about our friends at Remind Magazine. How could I forget? The holidays are upon us. And how would you like to give a gift that lasts all year long to your gift recipient, and it only costs you $12 out the door, including tax, including postage? Of course, I'm talking about our friends at Remind Magazine. Your gift recipient, and you can give this to yourself, will enjoy 10 issues per year. That includes 2 double-sized issues in the winter and in the summertime. Go to remindmagazine.com, and you can use any major credit card, or you can call them at 855-773-6463, and a very kind human being, not AI, Keebler, order specialist will assist you in processing your Remind subscription. And please mention the Nostalgic Podblast when you order. But here's what Remind Magazine is about. Anyone watching can see the current edition that shows Boris Karloff as Frankenstein, a Halloween-themed issue. They have a great Halloween-themed issue. They have themes every year. They covered game shows in September 2024. That was a fantastic issue as well. Their wheelhouse are monthly themed features from the 1950s to the 1990s eras. The 1950 to the 1990 eras. And there's also classic comics. There's trivia quizzes. There's brain-teasing puzzles. So BBB would love it. Brain Bender's Banter. They need to partner with her too at BBB's channel. And it's just a heck of a lot of fun. And my gosh, what can you get for $12 for the whole year? Most streaming monthly premiums are more than $12 for the whole month for Amazon Prime and for Netflix, certainly. Max. I love all these streaming services. Paramount Plus, Disney Plus, love them all. Peacock, love them all. So don't block me with your bots. But seriously, what can you give for $12 for an entire year? And seriously, people will think you spent a heck of a lot more than $12. And if you want to renew it, it only is $24 for the next year. And I think this $12 special is going away by the end of the year, if I'm not mistaken. I need to confirm that with Remind. But that's a great deal. And you will love it yourself. So please mention the Nostalgic Podblast when you order for yourself or for a gift for the holidays or a birthday. And there's birthdays all year round, so it makes a great birthday gift too. And we will get back to remembering the great game show hosts who are no longer on this earth, but are immortal thanks to videotape and to great channels like Buzzer and to a lesser extent, the Game Show Network, GSN. I think they only air Match Game in terms of the classics, hosted by the late, great Gene Rayburn. Let me look at the chat. Leave my AI alone, said Keebler. Not my... I can't... I'm not even going to say what you just said. Can't do it because... Just can't do it. I support paid streaming services. Absolutely. Okay, so thanks to Remind Magazine. I'm going to forgo the nostalgic cliche of the week on television and some other stuff. I'm just a little verklempt, like I said, because of everything that went down tonight on YouTube. Going to get ready to say goodnight. Any last words, chat? I want to also talk about our friend Barry King of BK on the Air. If you're watching live, or maybe you're catching this Saturday morning at 7 a.m. with your morning coffee. But his show will be on at 10 a.m. Eastern, and that is 2 p.m. No, that's all right, 7 a.m. on the West Coast, 10 a.m. on the East Coast. And it's a 2-hour show Saturday mornings on WBHF, and how you can hear it from any device for free and be a part of the show and call in to the show if you want. It's all nostalgia, and it's Barry King and his co-host Alan Sanders, but it's Barry King's show, BK on the Air. That's his initials, Barry King. It has nothing to do with Burger King. It's BK on the Air, and it's Saturdays 10 a.m. to noon Eastern time, 7 a.m. it starts on the West Coast. And go to WBHFradio.org. You can stream it from their website or download their free app. WBHF. There you go. And I want to give a shout out to Brainbender's Banter. I'll be on there tomorrow. I'm going to try to stream it from my other YouTube Chance Acting demo instead of the Nostalgic Podblast because of the issues we had tonight. But let me see if I don't think I have the doggone thumbnail uploaded, but I can do it right fast quick. Look what we're going to talk about tomorrow night live. And you can watch the replay if you didn't hear this in time to be a part of the live show. Wait a second. Where is it? It is. Oh man, I thought I saved it. This is bad. Oh, I'm such a fool. I know what I did wrong. I'm in, and Sarah, you'll get a kick out of this, and Keebler too. I'm in no, I was in the pics. I thought I was in the clip area. I don't know why. It is on my doggone, my computer. Okay, now I can see it. Brainbender's Banter is a panel show Saturday night, her live show, and it has several people on there. Sarah's on there most Saturdays. I think she says she's taking Saturday off. I don't know if that's still the case or not, but Keebler's there in the chat, and sometimes it's Chrissy's channel, Brainbender's Banter, that what I call simul stream. I noticed that expression is being used more and more. I guess it's not so creative because you have simulcast, which is a broadcast over many different affiliates. It's a simulcast or channels simulcasting. So simul streaming is the same thing as simulcasting. So I'm not so original with that, but I'm the first person I know of that said it. And now all of a sudden, a lot of people are saying it, just like friend of the show. To my knowledge, I never heard it. I just came up with it. Now everyone's saying it, but whatever, imitation is the most sincerest form of flattery, unless you're getting screwed in the rear by, that's a terrible analogy, unless you're getting screwed over. All right, a family show. All right, here it is. Here is what we're going to be talking about. Who is your favorite horror movie character? And that will be on Facebook Live in the Podblast, which is 6,000 strong members, 6,100 and counting. The Nostalgic Podblast Facebook group will host this, as well as some other Facebook Live applicable and appropriate places and groups. And it will be on Chance Acting Demo YouTube Live if you want to see it or catch the replay. So that'll be a lot of fun. That's what's going on tomorrow. Yeah, I took the week off, says Sarah. Okay, but hopefully you'll be there in chat because I love your hilarious commentary in the chat. And I think I'm finally going to say goodnight. And I say that, and then I go for another hour. I've gone 4 hours now. That's the time to call it quits for sure. Let me just make sure. Let's see what I want to sign off with. I usually sign off with Donna Summer, Last Dance, but I'm a little paranoid now about doing that. So I'm going to end with something else right now. I'm going to end with this because it'll be almost impossible at the moment for this next week to put this on YouTube. Tonight's show about the great Gene Hackman. But let's end with this. And I say, good night, everybody. Have a great week. And prayers to those that suffered storm damage. I haven't even acknowledged that. I don't want to date the show. That's the reason. That's not because I'm insensitive. Believe me, I am very much aware. I'm donating. I'm doing whatever I can to help the victims of these storms. But I wish you and yours a very pleasant weekend or week, depending on when you're listening to or watching the show.